Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And with me today is a returning guest from a very long time ago. For some of you may not be familiar. This is Sriracha.
Hello, Nick. It is great to be back. It is great to be back and giving my, ninth PhD dissertation on
Russell.
Man, the myth, the legend, Russell Greer.
And there is no one more deserving of PhD dissertations than Russell Greer, in my opinion.
There is no one who's more interesting on planet Earth than Russell Greer. Russell Greer is the most fascinating person on the face of the planet because he does not learn. He makes these same exact mistakes over and over again. When a child touches a hot stove, that child will not touch the stove again. Russell will smash his fist through the stove and then sue it for violating the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Right, because Russell has seen other people operate a stove. And those people did not get burned. So when he put his hand on the hot stove and got burned, that was unfair. It was an unfair situation.
The stove was off and it gave him representations that it was okay to touch the stove.
Oh my goodness. So if you guys are not familiar, and you may not be familiar, Russell Greer is an enigmatic piece of the internet. He is he's a guy. He has some sort of condition. I can't even remember what it's called. I was trying to explain to someone today.
Russell has Mobius syndrome.
Mobius syndrome. That's what it was.
It is a minor facial paralysis. He is missing the 7th cranial nerve in his face, which means that he has trouble doing things like chewing and enunciating his words correctly.
Right. Also, not slobbering. It's very difficult for him. And I have a Mobius syndrome simulator, which I will be pulling out at some point during this stream. And you
still
guys
have it.
I do. And it's been a long time since I have tried to drink whiskey with Mobius syndrome, but I figured tonight will be it's a good return.
No better night than tonight, Nikki.
So why don't you introduce yourself? Because it's been I think over a year since we've chat on the show.
It's
been a long time.
It has. It's been at least 6 months. I think somebody said the last one we did was definitely in 2019. So I'm Sriracha. I'm just a person on the internet who's obsessed with a man named Russell Greer. The best way I could describe Russell Greer to people who have never interacted with him is that Russell is to Taylor Swift as, what was the David Letterman stalker's name? Margaret Mary Ray was to David Letterman. Is that too deep of a cut for you Zoomers?
It's too deep of a cut for me, but only because I didn't watch Letterman.
Oh, well, back in the 90s, there was a magical woman named Margaret Mary Ray who believed that David Letterman, she was in a romantic relationship with the David Letterman, and that he was sending her secret messages through the TV. And she broke into his house 8 times and left cookies there. And Russell is a man who believes that Taylor Swift sends him secret messages. That she wants to do things like record his song and go on a date with him. But instead of breaking into her house and leaving freshly baked cookies, Russell just leaves lawsuits at her doorstep. Yes,
he just leaves lawsuits at her doorstep. He leaves presents to her family members, for example, sending them things. He befriends her. Well, he thought he befriended her brother. Right, if I remember right.
Yes, but alas, it was just an ignorant troll.
No,
troll words.
No, nobody would ever go on the internet and pretend to be someone else for the purposes of lulls.
Is that allowed, Mr. Lawyer? Are you allowed to say lies on the internet?
You are allowed to say lies as long as they don't actually cause someone some sort of tangible loss, other than just their own, humility and their own sadness, I suppose.
Oh, well, Russell is constantly just getting molested with troll words like, that was stupid, you should not do that.
Yeah. Please stay away from these innocent people who don't know you.
Russell. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was going to just talk about the other things Russell have done are things that are worth noting too. One of them is he actually, we don't give Russell enough credit. He basically won a legal action against the Bunny Ranch.
Is that how you describe what happened there?
He didn't go to court, but he did, presumably settle out their dispute he got a 2-for-1 or whatever.
Didn't the prostitute also get a restraining? Oh, Russell also sues hookers, by the way.
And he might also try and marry strippers after one night of dancing.
That's true, and one night of Olive Garden. If you've never seen the Greer streams, I would really highly encourage everybody to go back and watch them. Not because I think that I'm particularly funny or interesting, but just because Russell is the peak, like the Mount Everest of lunacy.
Right.
In our time.
The Greer streams themselves are what Sriracha and I, for almost all of them, I think there was one that you missed, and Peach filled in, if I remember right.
That was sick.
But almost all of them were Sriracha and I reading through Russell Greer's book, Why I Sued Taylor Swift. And we read through it one chapter of a time. It is a true story. It is factually accurate. Everything in that book is representing reality. And it's important to know that because
that is true.
Because you have to understand what Russell has gone through. This is just the story of his first lawsuit. And I think with this new one, he's now up to 4 just against Taylor Swift. He sued other people.
This is the third Taylor Swift. I think you're thinking he also sued Ariana Grande once. This is the third Taylor Swift lawsuit. So this is basically identical to the first 2.
This is only his second federal action. I thought this was his third federal action. But no, I think,
unfortunately not.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He's got, oh God. Speaking of which, I think you just sent it to me. Yeah, here it is. Oh boy. So what I think we're going to do today, guys, is we are going to go through, that Russell Greer lawsuit, take a look at the filing. That's one way to go ahead and do this. And then we also have a very special treat that I received a while back and have been holding on to do this show. And that treat is the arrest document from when Russell was in high school. Russell was arrested in high school and for alleged acts. And I believe he maintained that it's not true. Like that.
Yes, we can go over if you would like to know what Russell claims happened, because I went back and I read this chapter of his book in anticipation of this stream. So we could give you the Russell version and then look at the version crafted by reality and see how they differ.
Or the police, the reality or the police. Look at their side of the story.
Touche.
Okay, perfect. So we'll do that. First, I want to hit 2 of these super chats real quick. Mithrin Emmer says, come on, Nick. Tay-Tay totally made representations to Russell. She also made a binding promise and obligation to record his music and date him. He 100% deserves to take her to Olive Garden. Now, I agree.
I agree in full.
I almost think there should be a change.org petition to get Russell Greer to Olive Garden with Taylor Swift. How many signatures would that take?
I think he's already tried that route, actually.
But he tried. You can never do these things for yourself because that's self-serving, right? So
true. Yeah.
He needs a support group of dedicated supporters. I want to know from Taylor Swift. Taylor, I know you're watching. I want you to tell me, just DM me on Instagram or whatever. I want you to tell me how many signatures would it take to get you to an Olive Garden with Russell Greer, and it's got to be filmed.
We will pay for your tour of Italy, Taylor.
I will fly you from wherever you are to whatever Olive Garden it takes.
The Olive Garden of Russell's choosing.
Russell can take a bus, but I'll fly Taylor Swift there. I think that's only fair.
Russell doesn't fly. Russell is afraid of planes.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Russell's afraid of planes. So I was on a live stream earlier, and we were doing nerdy stuff. We were painting miniatures for a game, right? And I was since you're painting, you have lots of time to talk. And I was telling him about Russell, heel versus babyface. I don't know if he said he might pop in tonight, but I was trying to explain to him the lunacy of Russell's trip to the Bunny Ranch. And this is the Bunny Ranch, of course, being the legal brothel in Nevada, in the United States. The only, or it was the first legal brothel. I think there are some other ones now, but it was the first one. And it's the subject of the HBO show Cat House, if you've ever seen that. But Russell went there. But we had Russell's boss on the show from when he was making this trip. And I was explaining to as heel versus babyface, I was explaining to him that Russell didn't have time between work and getting on the bus and getting to the whorehouse to change clothes. So he went to work as a janitor at like a Walmart or whatever in his tuxedo. And then he rode a bus from Utah to Nevada for like 8 hours in the same tuxedo that he then arrived at the Bunny Ranch to seduce the woman he is paying for.
That's basically what Spider-Man does, right? Oh, could you imagine how wet that would be? Here's my question. If he succeeds in serving Taylor Swift, God willing, how is he going to get to Tennessee? Is he going to take the Amtrak? That's going to be one hell of a train ride.
You know, coronavirus may play on his side.
No.
Because they're doing all of these hearings via Zoom, right? So even federal court hearings can be done via Zoom if there's some sort of coronavirus risk, and the judges are getting a little more used to it. So he may actually have the opportunity to do it remotely.
Oh, the stars are aligning.
Yes. And of course, there's no possible way that anything could go wrong with a Zoom streamed courthouse appearance.
Oh no, just like everybody was on their absolute best behavior at that hearing on Monday. So big shout out. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask you if you could tell me what the hearing on Monday was about. Like what lawsuit this is, what was going on there? Because I only saw that he had a hearing, had no idea what it was for.
Okay, so I just learned about this on Monday, so I'm sure somebody's going to correct me shortly after this stream. But Russell was facing 2 counts of online electronic harassment. Do you know what that is?
No, not a chance.
Oh, very much so.
Oh, God. Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you what it is. It's very difficult to do. Online electronic harassment. You have to actually be found guilty. Now, who knows why he was charged, but to be found guilty, you have to, via electronic means, reach into someone's life to the point where they are afraid or intimidated by your actions. So it's not just, some people confuse online harassment with you post something about someone on Twitter. Well, they don't have to go on Twitter. That, nothing will bother them other than them just feeling their feelings being hurt or whatever by having someone say something mean. Reaching in would be like persistent emails or private direct messages that the person that avoid things like blocks. So like creating multiple accounts or just going around the normal tactics that you would be able to use to shut someone out and subvert their ability to get away from you. That would be the basic criminal charge there if they could prove it. So that's what he was at the hearing for, apparently.
Yes, that was what he was at the hearing for. Obviously, we don't have like the full roster of what Russell did or did not do because he pleaded no contest. I think I have a feeling I know what went down, but the woman The woman who he allegedly harassed did release a series of text messages, allegedly from Russell, where Russell allegedly creates multiple different phone numbers after she blocks him to call her boyfriend, who is named Chad, which is the funniest part of this entire thing.
The Virgin Russell versus the Chad.
The Chad. Yeah, he pled no contest, and the entire hearing was pretty boring. He has to pay the court of Utah $680. He has to never talk to this poor girl again, and then he has to also, I guess, just not do any crimes. Is that the usual plea
Yeah,
deal?
for some period of time, like a year, 2 years, something like that. Maintain law or remain law abiding. That's probably, yeah. Otherwise, that's probably like a stay of imposition on the jail sentence that he could be sentenced to. So as long as he doesn't do any other criminal acts that are somewhat related, then he'll be able to stay out of jail. But if he does, he could risk going to jail for some period of time. That's great. I'm glad that he actually did basically what I was suggesting you would need to do. But a no contest plea, just for the education purposes, is saying I'm not guilty, but I admit that they have enough evidence that I look really guilty. So it's a guilty plea without saying you did it.
Okay, yeah, that's what I assumed it was, but thank you for laying that down there. Also, big shout out to the gentleman who joined the chat room, as they really, these poor boomers that set up this system made it so all you needed to do was to join the video call was put a name down and an email. So of course everybody shows up using fake names, and some madman showed up as Based Scortus, and they added him to the call. And this poor guy is like, I think Mr. Scortus's law firm is here. Is that Mr. Based Scortus?
Why would he even be there in the first place? Like, I mean, I guess the judge would know who Greg Scortus was, but he's not involved in the case, surely, right?
Oh, Greg Scortus was representing. That's a really crucial detail I forgot. Greg Scortus was representing the girl that Russell allegedly harassed.
Oh my God. That's exactly, if I ever have any criminal thing in Utah ever, I will hire Greg Scortus. I don't care if I have to fly him first class and lodge him somewhere special across the state. I have full faith that that is the greatest attorney alive in the state of Utah, at least.
Oh yeah, Greg Scortus is Russell's white whale. He will never defeat Greg Scortus.
He should get Taylor Swift should hire him to represent her in Tennessee. Just because she could afford to do it.
Is she allowed to do that? Like, can he go there and represent her? If
she could hire him, and he could appear if he's not registered before that particular federal court, which he probably isn't. He could appear pro hoc vice, and he could just hire local counsel to sign off on the documents. Which is what a lot of people do when they have an attorney that they use for everything, but then get sued out of state. So yeah, she could in theory do it. She probably wouldn't, but I would if I were her, just for the memes.
I would too, for the lulz.
Okay, and I have one more super chat, and I'll have to explain this one to you. This just in: Han from War Campaign will not be going to jail for memes. Charges were pled down to a fee for littering. Let the dildos fly.
I know what each of those words mean individually.
So there's a guy from this internet group called War Campaign. It's a big thing. It's a thing in the comics, the independent comics industry. And what War Campaign was doing for a while was creating memes of people's faces and photoshopping in rainbow dildos all over the place. And then he got tagged by, I think, the state of Washington for revenge porn, for making for making lewd or lascivious content by making these dildo memes, and he got charged, and the judge didn't dismiss his case. Like, he had to actually go into the case and I guess do a trial of some sort. But it sounds like he did a plea and he pled down to littering. How do you go from making dildo memes to littering? I don't.
That doesn't make any sense.
What is the... Okay, so when you guys, when you do a guilty plea, you have to plead to the elements of the crime. Like, you have to admit to facts that occurred to bring you to the crime. So I don't know how I photoshopped a dildo onto this guy's forehead translates to littering in any sense of the law. But
that's like saying I pled down from murder to shoplifting.
Yeah. Exactly. It just doesn't add up. But for whatever people think about War Campaign, and there are lots of reasons that people have problems with War Campaign, and that's fine. Pan did not deserve to go to jail for making dildo memes of people. That's a silly thing. I had heard there was more to it than that, but I don't know the facts of that. But apparently he did some littering at some point. So
wow,
good job.
Truly incredible.
Okay, so how do we want to do this? Do we want to do this this court document first, or should we do the arrest document first? I was thinking we'd save the arrest document since my show tends to start a little later. I think a bunch more people are going to show up in about 20, 25, 30 minutes. So I was thinking we could do we'll at least start on his document. I don't know that we need to go. Great. We don't need to go through all of it, maybe, but we should, and we can interject backstory to this. So
and I'm sure there will be many.
Okay, so I'm pulling it up for the chat to see. Just a minute here. I have my trusty iDubbbz is a cuck window open. Oh, by the way, while we're talking about this, before the end of the stream, where can people find you if they want to find you on the internet doing the things that you do?
Oh, yeah. Why don't you head over to twitter.com and look up delete your account, spelled very stupid. Nick, link that. Put it in the description.
I will. Let me copy and paste it. So
I do Twitch streams. I haven't done one in a while, but I'll do one soon. Twitch streams, Twitter, the usual.
Now, delete your account or delete your account too? Or
delete
both?
Your account.
Account.
Just the normal one.
Okay.
And then twitch.tv/Sierra Santana, the number 1.
Have you done a watch party on Twitch yet?
No, what is that?
It's the most fun thing they've ever done. In my opinion. So if you have Amazon Prime, any of your viewers with Amazon Prime can join you to watch Amazon Prime movies. Whatever's free to watch on Amazon Prime. And so like you start your stream with just your face in the window, and then you start the watch party and it adds in the video. And so you watch it and they watch it and you get to have your commentary and interact with the chat during it. It's, oh my God, it's so much fun.
That sounds incredible. Holy crap. When did they add that?
They added it earlier this summer, or earlier in the spring. And then they only had like 70 total items you could watch at first, but then they just expanded it to the entire Amazon Prime catalog like a month ago or a couple weeks ago or something like that. And so now you can watch everything. Last night we watched Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2, and it was just glorious. Watching 80s and 90s movies that's what I enjoy doing, but they have new stuff too, it's whatever's on Prime. But
well, follow me on Twitch for anime streams. I'll put some anime out there.
Yeah, I've been watching through Vinland Saga actually.
Oh really?
Yeah, and I do I've been doing it on the weekends, like 6 episodes at a time, and it's pretty good. I don't know if you've seen it. Vinland Saga. Anime about not Japanese people at all. Norsemen.
I'm familiar with it. It's got the blonde protagonist, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Episodes 13 through 15 or 16 were really long and boring to me. But I just want my killing. That's all I care about. And there was barely any. But then it picked back up and was great. So it's fun. Hellraiser 3, I want to do it, but it's not on Prime. Otherwise, I'd do it tonight. Okay. All right. So I have added you on Twitter to the description. I'll add your Twitch channel as well. Thank you. When I get around to it. But let's go ahead and jump into these documents here.
Oh boy.
So if we just want to start at the nature of the action, this is something that Russell does. And do you want to do the traditional thing where we alternate paragraphs for a little bit?
Love that.
We can talk about it. But this is Russell has to let the judge know that this is really real for real this time. And
third time's the charm.
I hope he gets the same judge again. That's always the best. But we'll have to see. Okay, so I'll go ahead and start with number 1 here. And I have it pulled up on the stream so they can read it along too. Okay. In a world where safeguards and disclaimers are put into place at every turn for consumers and those wishing to do business with others, there are surprisingly no safeguards or disclaimers utilized by world-famous celebrities.
None at all.
My favorite word in that line is surprisingly. Whose influences can be felt internationally to minimize or avoid potential damages. Defendant Taylor Swift happens to have such an influence, which has resulted in a nearly 4-year-long harm to plaintiff Greer, which has resulted in giving Greer post-traumatic stress disorder and has given rise to this complaint.
The PTSD is new. I think this might be a new feature of this lawsuit. I only remember him doing the vicarious liability crap last time.
Yes, I skimmed this document about a week ago, and I did notice that he has added some legal theory to it, and I can't wait to see just how great it is. And by the way, guys, I will be reading all super chats that all of the 20 plus super chats with the Russell lips from here on out for the rest of the
hell yeah. How much do they have to chat to get you to Baby Bird whiskey?
I'm gonna do it on my own, to be honest.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna just do that periodically, but the first one we'll do in just a minute if you want to. Well, as soon as we're done with these first two to three paragraphs, but
sounds good.
But I love it. Surprisingly, no safeguards. No one is surprised by this except for Russell.
He sure was surprised when his first 2 got thrown out of court.
This is wrong.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, go ahead with number 2. Sorry.
Since the inception of the American judicial system, courts and legal scholars have held and argued that those who create misrepresentations can be held liable for harm suffered by third parties when those third parties rely on information that risks their safety, physically and monetarily. Restatement of am I having a stroke?
Yeah. Yes. Now you can sue Russell though, because he created a representation that you'd be able to read his document without having a stroke, and clearly it's a risk to your safety.
Yeah, I'll send him the bill for my cirrhosis treatment. I'm gonna need it after this.
All right, celebrities and public figures can already be held liable by the Federal Trade Commission, hereby collectively referred to as the FTC, per 16 CFR 255, for negligent endorsements and for failures to warn in regards to the endorsement of products, though only the FTC can bring action against celebrity endorsers in regards to products. However, there are no restrictions precluding a private party to cite and use said federal statute as persuasive authority for actions not based on the statute per se. Guides concerning the use of endorsements and testimonials in advertising, Federal Trade Commission. Okay, so only the FTC can actually bring an action against Taylor Swift for her endorsements of products, which I think is a key element here that Russell is missing again. there isn't a product that's being endorsed by Taylor Swift that I'm aware of. Maybe there is.
Well, Russell would argue that the product is her personality, that Taylor Swift is a publicly consumed good that creates, I don't know, I'm trying, I'm twisting my brain into pretzels, trying to think like Russell, but I digress. This is a civil action seeking monetary damages for the negligent actions of defendant Taylor Allison Swift, hereby collectively referred to as Swift and or defendant. And let me just say this right now because this pisses me off so much. He says this right here in the fourth line that he's going to call her Swift or defendant, and then he just calls her Taylor for the rest of the document. I don't know why that makes me so mad, but it does. He does it like 50 times.
In fairness, who isn't on a first name basis with Taylor?
It's so fucking weird because it's so weird. I'm sorry, I swore on your Christian stream.
Oh,
it's
no.
so weird.
The Christianity of the stream is questionable sometimes. So you are perfectly fine to let free, so to speak.
It just makes me so mad because he gets it right for everyone else, including himself. And then it goes out the window for Taylor. Anyways, for her failure and breach of duty to use disclaimers in connection to her publicity stunts and intellectual property, of which have resulted in monetary damage, emotional damage, economic damages, and physical damages to plaintiff Russell G. Greer, hereby collectively referred to as Greer and or plaintiff, as he relied on Swift's publicity stunts and her intellectual property.
How did he rely on her intellectual property? Okay. All right. I've got a couple super chats and we've got to Greer this. So I'm going to get the Greer lips on, guys, so you can see what it's like to read super chats with Mobius syndrome. Very, very, very troubling thing. From JXDDX. I never got legal docs. Washington is near me. Can I get a basic rundown on how I can find the case number and which courthouse I can buy the docs from? Any other info I should look up before going to the courthouse? What documents are you talking about? Are you talking about the ones we're reading right now? They're available for free on courtlistener.com. Otherwise, you could try going to a federal courthouse, but usually you have to just get them from a facer.
Your mouth hitting a workout already?
Yes. I forgot how much this hurts in the lips. Patrick L says, I watched in horror as I lost from West Virginia, snorted a shot of Fireball. Now I want to spread my pain by requesting Nick do this. You must cut the straw first. Ugh. Snorted a shot of Fireball? That's disgusting. That would
hurt.
That's first of all, Fireball is nasty. Second of all, snorting it would be horrible. And third of all, it's cinnamon. Ugh. No, I won't do it. I won't do that. All right. So let's skip the jurisdiction one. Personal jurisdiction and venue is boring, and the parties. Maybe we should read. Well, Russell talks about himself, so maybe we should do that.
Yeah.
Plaintiff Russell G. Greer resides in the state of Utah. He is 29 years old and has his paralegal degree. Guys, this is a certified paralegal who are just as good as lawyers as I'm guessing he's going to tell us. He was born with a facial disability termed Mobius syndrome, which means that he can't close his mouth and talk clearly, thus making daily life activities such as communicating, eating, drinking, and being in public difficult. And
as Nick Rekieta will demonstrate, using the lips.
It really is. The lips help me get into the persona of Russell and to understand his pain and to see if I still think he's terrible afterwards. Yeah. Go ahead.
Defendant Taylor Swift is an internationally famous, award-winning artist who is a year and a half older than Russell. Swift is celebrated by the media for being supposedly compassionate and open with fans.
Supposedly compassionate.
Allegedly.
I love how much he he has built up so much disdain for her over the years through all of this, and it's great because I don't think she's done anything to him at all. Except try to get away.
Desperately hurt her family, her poor family members.
Okay, seeing Swift's representations this is his general allegations. Plaintiff Greer has always wanted to get into the entertainment industry. With a disability that limits Greer's expressions, though, it is difficult to do so, given that the business is already competitive enough. I think he's wrong. I think it makes him unique.
I bet if he could actually play the piano well, he might be able to get on one of those shows like America's Got Talent.
Guys, it took him 2 years to record a piano song of that he wrote. And it's like a minute long. It took him 2 years to record it.
And he doesn't even like it. He says it's bad.
Oh my goodness. Oh, there's heel versus babyface. That's a phallic unicorn. Okay, thank you. Thank you for sending a phallic unicorn sticker. I really appreciate it. I was confused about what that was. All right, do you want to go ahead at
sure.
number 11?
Throughout the years, Greer saw defendant Taylor Swift interact with fans who reached out to her. These interactions consisted of showcasing invites to red carpet events, simple gifts such as gift cards and quilts on Twitter, accepting prom and military ball invites, inviting girls who made paper cranes. He is so mad about these paper cranes. He talks about it every damn time he mentions Taylor Swift. If you don't know, some girls made 1,000 paper cranes for Taylor Swift's mother who had cancer, because I guess there's some kid's book about how if you make 1,000 paper cranes, you get a wish. And Russell thinks that this is the dumbest thing on the face of the planet, does not hold a candle to his song, and he's just so angry at the paper cranes.
Spoiler, in the kid's book, they don't make enough and the girl dies. So
are you serious?
Yeah.
Why would you write that?
That's great.
He's mad at the cranes because they didn't kill Taylor Swift's mom.
Yeah.
While the interactions varied, they established a reoccurring theme. Taylor Swift is open to accepting gifts and life stories from fans. She endorses such conduct, but it hasn't all been subtle. She's openly been generous and is constantly on the lookout to help others. A timeline of Taylor Swift's generosity from Billboard.com.
She's openly out there predatorily helping others.
That bitch.
Oh my God. Okay, I got another one, and we'll drink some whiskey with this one.
Baby bird, baby bird.
Jason of the Great Awakening says, I'm sorry if I shit. To truly understand Greer's plight, what would it take to get you to date Lady Rackets to the Olive Garden while wearing the lips the whole time? It would take. I'd have to get the babysitters for it. That's the real trick. Okay.
Well, it would only be 2 hours because he only got 2 hours with the hooker. So then she'd have to leave, go sleep somewhere else.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
It's fine. There's a lunch pool down here that I can't get to.
Have you considered gargling it next time?
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah.
That is difficult, and it is drool inducing. So there you go.
First one of the night. Oh wait, no, second, right?
That was the second lip stream or lip.
Excellent.
Thing. Excellent. There was some whiskey on the outside. That was gross. Okay. Okay. Besides the fan interactions, Swift gave several interviews to promote her music, where she expressed that certain things inspired her. Oh, I'm laughing a lot, guys, but this is like, think how mundane these things actually are. And Russell wants the long and short of what he wants is, when you watch a pharmaceutical ad and that guy reads everything at the Micro Machines pace at the end of it, he wants that disclaimer every time Taylor Swift does something nice, ever. And not just her, but every celebrity on the planet.
I wonder what that disclaimer would even look like. She'd be like, I gave some money for my backup dancer's cancer treatment, and then a little asterisk that says, note, this offer does not apply to Russell Greer.
Yeah. That would be great. Oh, God. All right. Do you want to hit 13?
Yeah, let's do it. In an interview to promote a movie she wrote music for, Swift states that she did the project because the story of a man who never gave up on his dreams inspired her. One chance, exclusive first look with Taylor Swift from youtube.com. Exhibit A shows Taylor Swift's misstatements that were broadcasts and Greer's reliance on them. I think it's just a screenshot of a YouTube video.
Yeah, how is it a misstatement? Like, he calls them misstatements, but it's just her statements. That's like, he's not, unless she was wrong in what inspired her. Actually, she said it was a man who never gave up who inspired her, but that's not actually true. She was inspired by a lettuce leaf or something. Like, what misstatement is there? But okay. In a voiceover for the music video of her song New Romantics, Swift says that the fans are the best part. New Romantics, Taylor Swift, YouTube 2014.
For further influence on a charity website that lists charities that celebrities support, Taylor Swift is listed as supporting several charities for those with disabilities: the ALS Association, Cancer Research Institute, Make-A-Wish Foundation. This all inspired Greer that Swift would be open to his intentions as a disabled man. Taylor Swift charity work, events and causes, looktothestars.org, very reliable. Exhibit B. As a side note, even charities, including the ones that Swift's to support, have disclaimers. Oh, there we go, smoking gun right there.
Better safe than sorry. Nonprofits' use of waivers, releases, and disclaimers.
Owned by facts and logic.
Many commentators, including Forbes, have suggested that Swift portrays the all-American girl, championing the images of others to enrich her career. Is Taylor Swift profiting off the LGBT community? Yes, but she's helping as well. Forbes 2019 Exhibit C. What are these articles?
He doesn't even include the full article. If you look at his exhibitions, it's his exhibitions list. It's just screenshots that article was indeed published on Forbes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, go ahead on 17.
Now we get into the real meat of
yes.
This was all baby time before right now. Reliance upon Swift's endorsements. Seeing these interactions and seeing her spoken words inspired and influenced Greer to reach out to Swift. Swift's conduct created misrepresentations because she apparently didn't mean what she endorsed or conveyed, because she wouldn't go on a date with Russell. Oh, I'm sorry, not a date.
Hashtag not a date.
Hashtag not a date, guys. He just wants to play footsie with her in an Olive Garden. Totally not sexual.
The not a date thing, real quick, guys, comes from the first time Russell sued Taylor Swift in Utah in small claims court. He offered to settle with Greg Skordas, her lawyer. He offered to settle for a date, but not a date, just for dinner, dinner with Taylor Swift.
He offered to settle for a dinner with Taylor Swift, but then he fervently claims in his book that there was nothing sexual. He is not attracted to Taylor Swift. He did not want a date. He just wanted to play footsie with her at an Olive Garden. She had braided hair and she was wearing a red dress. That's it. It's not weird, guys.
Oh, and he would also get to keep any hair she left on the seat.
Yes, and he did get to lick the booth.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Where was
Okay,
I?
sorry,
Oh, yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're fine. Swift's conduct created misrepresentations because she apparently didn't mean what she endorsed or conveyed. Misrepresentations can be more than words. They can include conduct not in accordance with the truth, which includes opinions with no privity of contract required. Restatement second of torts, 1977.
Greer spent years conjuring up a grand idea to impress her, in reliance of her actions and spoken words so that he could stand out. His idea was to stand out by writing a song about Swift as an appreciation song to thank her for helping him get through life with her music. It was an appreciation song from one musician to another. He hoped that Swift would be flattered by his efforts, his life story. And if she was, he hoped doors could be opened. If not, he hoped for similar favorable results like the fans mentioned above received. Some of Greer's legal professors chided him for reaching out to Swift as they thought it unprofessional and nonsensical.
I can't possibly imagine why.
What do law professors know really, though? I mean, outside of what they teach, nothing.
Well, he's about to win $25 million, Nick, so shut up.
I think he was hoping legs would be opened, not doors. That's just what I think.
Well, listen, your opinion is fraudulent and you are getting a lawsuit served in the mail tomorrow.
I've been waiting for one. Just waiting for Russell. Notice me, senpai, please.
Russell, you cannot sue me. Do not rely on my representations because I am a bad person. Greer hired an online production company to produce the song he wrote about Swift. I get you, Taylor Swift. He hired them because they were cheap. After the song was finished, he didn't even like it. It spent 2 years. After the song was finished, Greer was horrified by the finished product, as it sounded nothing like what he wrote. He couldn't get a refund.
Right. Because the guy singing doesn't have Mobius syndrome, so of course it sounded like nothing like what he wrote.
You don't like your fans. The song is great too, by the way. Go look it up. It's called I Get You, Taylor Swift.
We might play it.
Oh, please. Yes.
During this time, Greer had moved to an apartment from renting a room in a house, and he was making $11 an hour. So he didn't have the funds to redo the song. Given that the quality of things Swift received weren't all that great, the bar was set low to impress her.
I can't think of anybody easier to impress than Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Greer just felt in his gut that it was the time to reach out to her. So Greer produced a simple video for the song with his brother narrating to add more depth and ingenuity to what he was sending. While it wasn't the best, it was far from the worst and showed genuine effort and conveyed a message of an underdog. The same underdog Swift said that she finds inspiring throughout the course of her profession. Greer also had other musical works that were better quality. He was going to reference to if Swift questioned or was curious about his musical talent, to truly show he was talented, and that the production was bad, but it was what he could afford at the time, and that it was made with sincere intentions. But Greer was only sending Swift a gift song video about her and nothing else. So I love it. He goes through he had other things though. He had other things just in case maybe she thought, but that's not what he was doing, though.
Because that's what Taylor was going to think if her damn dirty troll agents didn't take the song, rip the song out of her hands. She screamed and cried on the ground. She was going to listen to it and think, this is crap, but maybe he really can sing.
Yeah. I hear the voice behind the voice.
And it said,
oh.
During July 2016, Greer contacted Switch management team with his gift and a desire to have it passed on to Taylor. I'm just going to read the next one because it's so short. Jay Shouties, poor Jay Shouties, has dealt with, he probably has PTSD.
I wish upon wish that I could get Jay Shouties on the show to talk about Russell. Wouldn't that be great? God.
Did you have any luck talking to Bass Scortus?
A long time ago, he had said something, and then I lost contact with him. I should follow up at some point because especially after the recent thing.
Oh yeah,
that'd be a good time to reach out. Oh. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. Jay Shouties, one of Taylor's managers, replied to Greer's email and stated that Swift doesn't accept unsolicited music, which led Greer to believe that Jay thought Greer was trying to get Swift to do a song he wrote rather than a gift song about her.
So there you have it, guys. This is the crux of it. This entire thing is based on the fact that Russell doesn't understand that when Jay is saying Taylor does not accept unsolicited music, that she doesn't accept any unsolicited music, not just unsolicited music that she wants to perform. It's any. She doesn't take any music at all. She doesn't accept it. But Russell doesn't get that there's a distinction there, and he flat out says it right here in 22.
But she's accepted military ball invites.
Right, that's true.
Why wouldn't she accept a song from a guy with a disabled guy with Mobius syndrome?
It's important to know this difference, because if he was just trying to get her to do his song and they cited unsolicited policies, Greer would have accepted that and moved on with his life. I'm pressing X to doubt on that.
Firm doubt.
But because he relied on Swift's misrepresentations, he invested so much time and money into writing a song about Swift to flatter her, a gift to give to her, and felt it unfair that he invested that and was not able to show her. Not only did he feel it was unfair, but he felt embarrassed that all his friends knew and supported his efforts of impressing Taylor, and he felt that all of that effort just to be blown off would be humiliating.
What you did, Taylor?
Those aren't your friends, Russell. I'm just gonna say. Can you imagine all of his friends? Oh yeah, you should definitely do this. That's a good.
Yeah, Russ, why don't you sue that hooker too?
Yeah. Bring her flowers first. Get mad when she doesn't accept him.
Shouties later called and left a message on Greer's phone, again emphasizing that Swift can't do his music, as her record label or contracts won't allow it. Shouty never mentioned anything about the gift, thus reinforcing his cluelessness. Greer has evidence that Shouties never mentioned anything about a gift, thus there was negligence, with understanding what Greer was trying to do. A transcript from the voicemail shows this. Exhibit D.
I can't. Oh my God. Negligence with understanding what Greer would do. You have no duty to understand someone. You can be dumb. Like even giving Greer the benefit of the doubt and saying Shouties is just dumb here. It doesn't matter. You don't have an obligation to not be dumb. Okay. Greer was heartbroken, but also annoyed that her agents couldn't figure out what he was trying to pass on. He saw this as negligence.
I see this as a sad story. I'm crying right now. Nick?
Yes. Oh, here. This is a new wrinkle right here.
Oh, yeah, the new wrinkle from The Beautiful Mind. Let's go.
Yes.
Swift has accepted unsolicited musical gifts before. For clarification, Swift has accepted unsolicited musical gift and showcasings before. Swift accepted a very cheesy compilations of her song sung by a singer named Todrick Hall, who comes into play later in the general allegations. She also accepted other musical covers of her song. Swift was made aware of the, quote, next Taylor Swift girl on America's Got Talent. This is another television program that Russell has a hate boner for. He really doesn't like America's Got Talent because they didn't let him on the show.
His audition video was so good. I don't know why they didn't let him on. I've
watched that, if not dozens of times, probably hundreds of times. It's so good.
They would have been arrested for what Piers Morgan or whatever said to him. If he would have gone on, they would have had to arrest Piers Morgan and deport him or whatever.
And they would all be served with lawsuits the next morning for, I don't know, negligence, for not understanding his vision. Greer saw all of this, which inspired him to act. It would appear her agents never made a fuss about these, if they truly do control what she listens to, in order to keep her from violating her contracts that Jay spoke so endearingly. What the fuck does that mean? It's like, oh no, we'd love to accept your song, but oh, these contracts.
Oh damn, we just can't get around it, man. Sorry, too bad.
Sorry, bud. This all matters because it shows an arbitrary policy on Swift's part that she doesn't adhere to. It shows that the agents didn't know what he was trying to send if they do allow gifts. And lastly, it further creates a representation that Swift accepts musical gifts.
So Todrick Hall is like he's semi-famous.
Yeah, he's on Disney Channel or something. He dances and sings and does TikToks.
He was on American Idol apparently as well.
Oh, he was?
The 9th season of American Idol. I don't know how he did. Let's see. 2009. He ranked between 13th and 16th overall. So he made it to the top 16.
He was also in one of Taylor Swift's music videos, I think.
So, Russell, let me help. It wasn't unsolicited, buddy. These were business deals. These are business deals that occurred for Todrick Hall, and especially the one with America's Got Talent. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Greer knew of no other way to get through to Swift. Whether he should have reproduced the gift or not is a moot point, since the managers didn't know it was a gift, nor did they listen. No one thinks you should have reproduced the gift. That's the weird thing.
Yeah, nobody even listened to it.
Yeah, they're not like, well, this is bad, and if it was better, we'd send it on. Nor did they listen to it or watch it, because in Jay's first email, he states, "This will not be forwarded or opened."
But he spent $300 on it.
I bet money that they have opened and laughed at that song 100 times.
Oh yeah, in my fantasy world, Taylor Swift, after a night of like shit posting under some anonymous account somewhere, sits at home with her friends, is like, "Hey, I gotta show you this song my stalker made me."
Oh my goodness. Go ahead.
During this time, Swift was on the news for many frivolous lawsuits that were filed against her. This inspired Greer to file his own frivolous lawsuit. No, it didn't say that. This inspired Greer that the only way he could get her attention was by bringing awareness to her manager's negligence. Under the law, this is called vicarious liability. The principal, Swift, is responsible for the agent's conduct. With that said, he filed a small claims court complaint in October 2016, not to harass, not to stalk. Remember, if you get out ahead of it, then nobody can tell you that you're doing it. It's PR 101, baby. But to bring attention to a legit claim of negligence from her agents.
Oh my God. I love it. So if you're doing a vicarious liability claim, you should actually focus on the actions of the agents. But he focuses largely on the actions of Swift throughout the entire document. It's great. God, he's
Russell.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say his legal theory is brilliant.
He says a lot that he sued Taylor Swift, or he doesn't say it in this document, obviously, but he's been posting up a storm on Facebook about how he sued Taylor Swift because he wanted to get her attention, and not necessarily because like he actually thought that the agents were negligent, which means he is admitting to filing a frivolous lawsuit. But the law can't touch him.
That. Should not post
he's Russell Greer.
It's not a good thing to post as just legal advice. Again, Greer was only doing the small claims court action because he truly believed she would see it.
Okay, I guess he does say that in this lawsuit.
An article regarding vicarious liability stated that suing under the theory brings the likelihood that the complaint will be resolved by the principal. Although his action was unconventional, it was thought out and filed with good intentions. The trial was set for December of 2016. What no one thought was that Swift would fight back.
Dun, dun, dun. And then she went to Olive Garden on site. The end. And Russell got his $20 million.
I love his handwritten page numbers. on every page here.
He forgot to sign this. Oh yeah, no, I see. Did you see he forgot to sign it?
No,
he had to file an addendum because he forgot to sign his own lawsuit.
Oh God. Okay.
Realizing that Swift isn't forced to accept or do anything, Greer just at least wanted to have the opportunity to show her, since he relied on her representation. Also, he was beginning to be slightly harassed on Reddit, an online forum, because he had been open about flattering Swift, and so Greer didn't want the harassment to be for naught. What is he admitting to? Oh wait, no, the harassment of Reddit.
Yeah, the harassment against him that he's suffering. He's suffering here, Sriracha. How dare you?
Harassment, words, troll words like "you shouldn't do that." That's stupid.
Please stop.
I don't want this. Greer would get random messages on his social media with people telling him that he's, quote, too ugly for Taylor Swift.
True.
True. Objectively true.
Objectively true. Sorry, Russell.
Hey, I'm too ugly for Taylor Swift, too.
Yeah, I think we all are.
So Greer didn't want the embarrassment or the harassment to be for nothing. In addition to the representations he relied on, someone just shot a firework right outside of my house.
I was wondering what was going on. I'm like, are you in the Chaz? Are you in the...
Coming to you live from the Chopaz. It's the Chop now, Nick.
Oh, it's the Chop. Sorry, I forgot. A psychological / academic theory reinforces what Greer was trying to achieve. Why are you bringing this up? You'll need an expert to testify about this theory if you want it to be part of the case, and you can't afford it. Expectancy violations theory, EVT. This theory analyzes how individuals respond to unanticipated violations of social norms and expectations. It's a form of social disruption.
Unexpected social norm violations, like repeatedly calling your agents to try to force you to accept a song written by a guy playing the piano.
Nonverbal expectancy violations, model elaboration and application to immediacy behaviors, communications monographs. From the Harvard Business Review. I can guarantee you Russell has no idea what's in that document. What? Oh, good night, pal. I'm in the middle of a show.
Good night.
Just a second. I'll be right there. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Okay, goodbye. I'll entertain you kids. So what are you guys up to? Let me open up the chat. How you guys doing tonight? Hi there, I am Pinhead.
All right.
Mini Rackets, Chair Coon, entertain us, Mom.
Sorry, it was my son got home late in the evening and wanted to say goodnight.
Mr. Timmer, I will tuck you in. No, they're all sending me messages.
Okay, sorry. Back to the Harvard Business Review states that this social disruption is a positive way at getting one's attention as it causes interest. 7 ways to capture someone's attention, Harvard Business Review. Although backed up by law, what Greer was doing was unconventional and breaking a social norm.
Was it, though? Was it backed up by law?
I'll give you one guess.
Is it? Yes, of course.
Of course it is. Absolutely.
Damn it, I had a coin toss. Part D, reliance not welcomed. A month later, Swift, through Utah lawyer Greg Skordas, in a motion, stated that defendant Swift was bothered by Greer, apparently not understanding what he was trying to do. This comment about being bothered by him, for anybody who's new to this, has derailed Russell's life for, I am not over-exaggerating, 4 years.
It's been, and now apparently, someone mentioned the PTSD arc is new over the past year.
It feels new.
But apparently it is now manifesting in post-traumatic stress disorder. And I hope he's been diagnosed with it, because that would be even better.
I believe he was. And the psychiatrist, because one of these, what's it called? The exhibits is a note from his psychiatrist that says he has PTSD, I think. From what we don't know, but... from being told by Taylor Swift's family that he is, and I quote, invasive and troubling. And I have that permanently seared into my memory because he talks about it every freaking day.
I know why he got PTSD. She told him no. through her agent. She didn't even have the decency to tell him herself. And I think that is just terrible behavior.
It is. It's just not nice, Taylor. You say things you really don't mean, and that's quite mean.
Yeah.
Greer was shocked. He showed his friends and verified if those words meant what they read, and the friends agreed. Greer was shattered.
I'm bothered by this guy. Oh.
Do not ever say something so hurtful. People in the audience. He honestly felt discriminated against because he had sent a video explaining himself, and the video clearly showed how Greer looks and talks, and Nick, the amount of money I would pay to a hacker on the dark web to get me that video.
Can you imagine? Oh my God. It would, there are a few things in life where someone so utterly debases themselves without it being complete degeneracy, right? Without being pornographic, where they just debase themselves to the point where lookers on would be left with awe and wonder and a little bit of bewilderment. Like anybody who watched that video would. Can you imagine how Taylor felt when she watched it? Well,
I don't think I can because she didn't.
It said she was bothered by Greer. And I think I'm with Greer on this, if only for my fantasy that she watched it and then was bothered. That makes it worse.
I'd sure be disturbed by it. Oh, God, I want to see it so bad.
Shortly before the date of trial, the details of which you need to watch the Greer streams or read Russell's book to find the true struggles that he went through on that day. Shortly before the date of the trial, Greer reached out to news outlets to carry coverage of the lawsuit. Although Swift purportedly knew about Greer, Greer continued with the facts of the small claims lawsuit of how her agents were negligent, but added in that by default, Swift was liable for their conduct. He also chided Swift for not trying to understand.
Shaking my head. This is truly a sad story, isn't it, folks? Part E, harm from the reliance. On December 8th, 2016, the news began coverage of the lawsuit, but they omitted all of Greer's arguments or the basis of the lawsuit and rather smeared him with off-the-cuff remarks he had made, thus making Greer look deranged and foolish. I cannot possibly imagine how they accomplished that.
They were heavy edits happening to make him look deranged and foolish.
He was taken out of context when he said he wants to take her to the Olive Garden.
Okay, Forever 229 has just got here, but according to Gamergate, females belong in the kitchen, not on a stream, or so I've heard. Just kidding. Love you, bro. Hey, thanks, buddy.
My stream setup is in my kitchen. So.
Perfect. As it should be. All is right in the world.
All is in line.
Wink Wink says, hey, Nick, do you think that you could give us your opinion about Naughty Dog and The Last of Us 2 fiasco? I'd like Chat's opinion on that situation, too. With lawyers rather doing a class action lawsuit versus Sony and Naughty Dog. For what?
Yeah, why are they mad at Naughty Dog? Just because the game's bad?
Hold on just a second. I need liquor. There you go.
Baby bird, baby bird, baby bird. Oh my God, I'm gonna fucking puke.
Oh God. That was Lagavulin. It's really smoky.
Oh my God.
Oh, it was great. Okay, I think there's a couple things that people are wondering about for the class action lawsuits. My opinion on Naughty Dog and Last of Us 2 fiasco can be summed up by watching the video Give It To Me Neil on my Rekieta Media channel. An excellent music video. Not created by me, but it is up there. as for the legal aspects, class actions would be really hard with DMCA's. Like Sony abusing the DMCA, doing a class action for that would be difficult because every DMCA or copyright claim is treated individually. So it's hard to certify a class with substantially similar facts because each of the videos would be examined. Each of the DMCA's would be examined as their own set of facts. So it's not impossible, but it'd be a mess. The other one I've heard is the false advertising claim for putting Joel in the trailer at a specific point when he's not actually there in the game. And again, I would respond that they have no obligation to make a story element in a trailer consistent with the finished product. And there have been movies who have done stuff like that in the past to avoid giving spoilers. You don't have to like it. But filing a lawsuit or a class action lawsuit against it is not going to get very far. So to give you a serious answer to your question, GameStop not allowing returns of the game, that's on GameStop, not Sony and Naughty Dog. All right. Sorry. Back to number 35. The news was covered in various publications nationally and internationally, including the United Kingdom's The Daily Mail. Taylor Swift sued after her agents stonewall Russell Greer's efforts to make music. Daily Mail 2016. The title of the headline alone proves that the news negligently and cluelessly reported on what Greer was trying to achieve on the basis of his lawsuit. Nothing in the article talks about vicarious liability or that Greer had created a gift song, not a song for her to do. Now, interestingly, it doesn't say Greer's efforts to sell her music. They stonewall. I think this is a very favorable title to Russell.
Yeah, really, because it
stonewalling Russell Greer's efforts to make music sounds like Taylor Swift's a monster.
My favorite. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All the man wants to do is make music, and here is this 5'10" Amazonian monstrosity standing in his way. What's he supposed to do?
I like it how this little bullet implies that Taylor Swift is personally responsible for how this article called him a crazy person.
Yeah, exactly.
Like she called them and was like, "You better not run this." Like that poor nerdy, thin, gaunt reporter has his finished story. It's like Taylor Swift, a monster who hates the disabled, and Taylor Swift just walks in and throws it down, and throws her cigarette on it, and puts it out with her heel, and said, "This will never see the light of day," and then kills him.
Right. Well, and stabs him with a knife right in the chest, right? Because that's
how the book went. Right?
That's how the book goes.
At the trial, the judge was rude, snarky, and wouldn't let Greer present arguments or evidence. He scoffed and rolled his eyes at Greer. The case was dismissed for lack of jurisdiction, while the judge did touch on points of negligence. With more defamatory articles of the misunderstood event, the ire surrounding Greer only increased.
I'm surprised he left out the Mexican mafia BMW Molotov squad.
Oh, yeah, the guy with the Jetta who got out of the car and pointed a gun at him.
Well, I'm talking about the one who firebombed his attorney friend who is totally advising him to do all of this.
Oh, I forgot. Jose has been very prolific in these weeks leading up to this trial.
Greer began to be harassed. It was the Christmas season when all this transpired, and Greer would have to wear a hoodie and a ski mask to avoid being recognized while looking at Christmas lights with his sister because people would shout, "That's the guy who sued Taylor." I guess COVID's his friend then, right? Because he can just wear a mask and now nobody asks any questions. People would shout at Greer that he's stupid. Because of his disability, people would conclude that he must be retarded too. Not only was Greer accosted in person, that was a quote, YouTube, that was quote, must be retarded too. I, for one, don't.
No, Nick, you just said it again.
I don't feel these hateful words, but I must preserve the record. Not only was Greer accosted in person, internet slander and harassment began to form of him. A large troll website began to dox Greer, publishing all of his personal information and his family's information. He doesn't even name them? That's rude.
He didn't name them in the book either. He called them like the plum orchards or something.
The plum orchards, y'all.
The kiwi orchards.
Some began creating fake profiles of Greer, with one superimposing Greer's face onto a guy who is grabbing Taylor Swift's butt, thus falsely implying that Greer sexually assaults women. Well, no, I think just Taylor Swift.
Just Taylor Swift.
Above the crude photo is a fake conversation that never took place, which implies that Greer stalks Swift, which is also false.
Oh, I know the exact meme he was talking about. It's a guy talking to Taylor Swift, and it says, "Do you follow Taylor Swift on Instagram?" And Russell says, "Not on Instagram."
Yeah. I love the actual meme or whatever. It's like, I follow Taylor Swift, and then the one's like, on Instagram. What's Instagram? Oh God.
Greer's place of employment, a law firm, began to get bombarded with hate mail. The head attorney and why is human resources capitalized? Chided Greer. People close to him began to steer away from him. Defamatory wikis began to be created of Greer, stating half-truth and bald-face lies.
The best lies are bald-faced.
The baldest of lies.
Oh, God. Greer had to delete social media accounts because of the harassment. In addition, trolls created fake email accounts purporting to be Greer and began harassing his birth family, whom he was trying to form a relationship with, after being put up for adoption as a baby. By the way, put up for adoption is not the preferred term. It implies the old times when they literally put children up on a block to be picked up at the train station by random families. They also created accounts of him on Reddit, pretending to be him, when he had never used Reddit during that time frame. That relationship is now forever ruined because of what the trolls did. That's kind of awful if that's true, but I don't believe for a moment that that's actually true.
I don't either. The day after the trial, Taylor Swift released her song, "I Don't Want to Live Forever," on December 9th. The Daily Mail referred to this is truly the work of a lunatic. The Daily Mail referred to the release as a surprise drop, proving that Swift knew about Greer and was trying to cover up the incident. The incident. Taylor Swift and Zayn Malik's surprise drop, new collaboration, "I Don't Want to Live Forever," for the 50 Shades Darker soundtrack. And it reaches #1 on iTunes on just an hour. So Russell Greer is claiming that Taylor Swift released a song to cover up, I guess, the news talking about this lawsuit that he was involved with her.
Yeah, that's why she did it. I mean, that's logical, right?
That is why she did it.
Yeah, of course. Like, oh, there's a lawsuit against me from somebody that is crazy that no one cares about. I better release a song now. That's the only way we'll fix this.
That's how contracts work, yes.
Right. It was a surprise drop because he's alleging she wasn't planning on dropping the music, rather than just no one knew that it was going to drop on that day.
Yeah, I think there's a little section in his book about like Taylor's agents calling up the song company and being like, "We need to drop the song now."
It must drop. It must drop immediately. If it doesn't drop, everyone will know about Russell. Phoenix Lord Ashran says, "Rewatched all of the Greer saga to prepare for this. Welcome back, Sriracha. Hope this is a fun stream."
I'm having fun.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna have some. Oh, come on! This is seriously ridiculous. That's what I was worried about.
You okay?
Uh-huh. Oh, gross. You don't know when it's coming out of the bottle.
It's a slow burn.
Yes. Oh. All right. In 2017, Greer decided he would write a book about the event to try clearing his name and share his side of the story.
Which worked swimmingly.
It's a masterpiece. It is a masterpiece. On October of 2017, Greer was fired from his law firm due to mounting harassment against the firm from trolls. Even after getting fired, the harassment continued, with suspicious packages being sent to him.
Somebody sent him, I believe somebody sent him a joke gift, like one of those little bags of dirt, and then it came with a little note that said, "You're a dirt bag."
No! How will he recover from that?
A suspicious package. He wasn't sent ricin or something. Greer published and released the book on Amazon in November of 2017. The book was titled Why I Sued Taylor Swift and How I Became Falsely Known as Frivolous, Litigious, and Crazy. Unsurprisingly, like a pack of killer wasps, the trolls plagued the book with bad reviews. Some even violated Greer's intellectual property by posting it online for others to read, and some lawyers in Minnesota even read it on YouTube.
It does not say that in the document. I almost wish it did.
Causing Greer to be deprived of money. Yeah, I bet.
Everyone who watches the Greer stream should definitely buy Russell's book. It is a masterpiece. Because of the hate reviews, Greer has been unable to market the book, and thus any attempt at clearing his name or showing his intentions are ruined. Shortly after getting fired, Greer got evicted from the home he was renting a room in. Exhibit 8 shows eviction notice and unemployment. In haste to find lodgings, Greer rented a room in a duplex owned by an older lady. Greer felt like a prisoner in that house. The lady lied about many things. She would lock the door, and Greer had no house key, so in a way, he was homeless.
Greer, jobless and homeless while still receiving severance payments, would desperately search for work. Greer found a job as a paralegal with a debt collection firm in November of 2017, but after 2 days of employment, they fired him because of Taylor Swift. Best line in the entire document, right there. The lawyer stated that because Greer sued Taylor, it meant that Greer would steal company data.
Well, yes, I agree. I agree.
I also agree.
I don't think he said that at all, but I agree that it's true. Greer ended up being employed washing firefighter uniforms for low pay and ended up getting fired from that job because the stress from the fallout was eating away at his emotions and work ethic. He was depressed that he went from a professional job to a job he was only at so that he could survive.
Yeah, that's what happens when you sue celebrities, buddy. Without any car and no bus stop near the duplex, Greer had to walk a mile in the 10-degree weather during the cold November and December winter. Sometimes Greer felt hopeless. Whenever Greer tried finding work or housing, the Taylor Swift thing always popped up. He was denied many jobs because of Taylor Swift. While Taylor was living the good life, a man who relied on her representations was homeless and jobless.
It's important to remember that Taylor Swift, even in all of the lawsuits, has never once talked to Russell Greer. All of the representations that she made are just by existing and being herself. That's it. No one else has had similar problems, just Russell. And it's all her fault.
It is a public concern because Taylor Swift, everything that comes out of Taylor Swift's mouth is a lie.
I love the line. Sometimes Greer felt hopeless. I think it's one of those perfect, just short, stab you in the gut sentences. It's great. In 2017 and 2018, Greer was fired from 5 jobs and denied many more jobs, even though he was perfectly qualified for the jobs, all because of Taylor. He knows the firings were because of Taylor because he was told so. Or when the denial was more subtle, there would be a sudden reversal of decision as if they had found concerning information about him. Greer finally found an office job at the end of 2018, even though it only paid $12 an hour. All right, so we're on to the PTSD.
PTSD, yes. Greer's PTSD diagnosis stemming from Swift. In July of 2019, Greer was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder stemming from Taylor Swift. In exhibit one, in the diagnosis, Greer's therapist, who will be referred to as M, as she has requested not to be involved with whatever the hell this is.
Don't mention me ever.
Stated that she was helping Greer control his moods and help him with his feelings towards Taylor Swift.
Certainly what she did was encouraged him to write another song. Like, if she's a good psychiatrist or therapist, that's what she would do. That's the only solution I can see.
Patient has delusions where Taylor Swift is following him in stores and calling his work.
Greer's PTSD is triggered when he hears Swift's music in stores or at the gym.
Oh no.
It's triggered when he sees her face in articles or on magazines. To describe it in the best way possible, it's like a light switch being flicked on and off at a fast rate when he sees her face or hears her music. His heart beats at a fast rate when he sees her image. He gets sick, as if someone has punched him in the gut. His head tightens, and he has to see a neurologist. And has had to see a neurologist. Greer finds himself talking to himself. He has to wear headphones in the store to avoid hearing her music. His PTSD has put disturbing thoughts in his head that he has confided to his counselor about, but he does not feel comfortable including in this complaint. I think we called it. I think we called this during the reading, that at some point Taylor Swift is going to be in garbage bags buried around various properties that Russell Greer has lived in.
Did you just call him Russell Swift?
Look, I'm just predicting the impending name change. Once she is in several pieces and being buried over a period of 7 years in different plots of Earth, he will also change his name to Russell Swift to honor her memory.
She's the reason for the hands in my freezer.
Oh. There's her legs in the ground. I keep crying, don't know why I do. He takes medicine twice a day, lamotrigine, and at night, clonidine, to cope with his pain. He has to take melatonin also in order for him to sleep. To be clear, it's Taylor Swift who gave him and triggers his PTSD, not the trolls, firings, etc. Those were just contributing factors because Taylor Swift has been the stated reason for the chain of events, and it's burnt into Greer's mind how little he felt when he read those words that purported to be from Swift.
This is, like I was saying earlier, like the fact that her mom and sister or something called him troubling. This has truly destroyed his psyche.
He may as well be dead. Oh.
To help with his pain, Greer wrote a song about his experience and professionally produced it. The song was featured on a few radio programs. Again, it was plagued with hate.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm good.
Greer hired a publicist. Oh, wait. Yeah. Greer hired a publicist and oh, wait. No, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Greer decided he would try helping his PTSD by trying to get closure by reaching out to Swift so she could know how much everything hurt and hopefully try to move on. Greer explained to his therapist what he was trying to do, and she agreed it could be a good way to get thoughts off his chest by telling Swift personally. I can tell why she didn't want to be included in this.
We have a pharmacist in the chat, and I'm hoping he will explain what each of those medicines are for. He says neither of those medications is for pain, by the way. So,
what is it for?
I've asked. I'm waiting for a response. But in the meantime, I've got a super chat to read. Just a moment. I've two. I have to work myself up to putting the lips back in. Oh. The Vigrated Air says, I just started reading the reviews for his book. I'm giving you the money because they are amazing. Greer is as sympathetic as the People's Republic of China, only less so. They have less bodies in their closet. Jesus. The Silent King says, Mr. Rackets, your lovely young guest is a favorite. I think we need more rooster sauce on the stream. If only if she is willing and has time, of course. So when do we get a Sriracha Drexel crossover? If at all possible, Mr. Fecox for live commentary. Oh my god.
Oh, are you dead?
I'm leaking.
Spit it out, Nick.
You're the reason for the whiskey on my pants.
You're the reason for the spit all over me.
No, that was...
I have Mobius syndrome, can't you see?
It all pooled, like it wasn't spit, it was whiskey. I should go driving now because I probably smell like Kevin Landau. But it all pooled up between my lip and the actual, the other lips and just spilled all over the place. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I enjoy having Sriracha on. You're welcome to come on for literally any topic, but Russell just has this special place.
Special place in my heart and my browser history.
Okay, is it my turn? I think it's my turn.
Yeah, I think so.
Greer hired a publicist, an Alvin of New York, who owns a mid-level public relations firm. He found on Upwork.com, a site where you can hire professional freelancers, who had a connection who is close friends with Taylor, Todrick Hall.
Yeah, I can't imagine why Todrick Hall didn't want your thing. You were shitting all over him 10 pages ago.
In December of 2019, the song and video detailing his pain was passed on to Todrick, who then passed it on to Taylor.
Doubt.
I can't. Imagine hiring all these people to make sure Taylor sees your pain. Oh, God. Okay, sorry. Go ahead on 65.
A week later, a Mr. Jackson with Viacom, full names not given, wrote a cease and desist letter on behalf of Swift, telling Greer to stop reaching out to her. The letter fractured Greer's relationship with Alvin saying, "Thanks a lot. You just ruined any chance I had with ever working with Taylor Swift."
Sorry.
It also soured Alvin's relationship with Todrick's management. Needless to say, the further rejection hurt Greer.
Hurt Greer? You killed a man's livelihood. He murdered Alvin's career. Oh my gosh. Alvin had connections through Todrick Hall to Taylor Swift. He was about to hit the big times, and Russell just took a dump all over that.
Russell just came and torpedoed his whole career.
Just drooled all over his career.
Dragged his... Go ahead.
No, you can finish.
No, I was just going to say dragged his face across the keyboard. Ended this man's whole career.
The Big Red Bear. Big Red Bear, I just wanted to respond now that I'm thinking about it. You should definitely go back. You're reading the reviews for his book, but go watch the Greer streams. Because we go through all of it. And it's great. It's great. Okay, number 66. Greer gave so much and lost so much because he relied on Swift's representations, which led to developing PTSD. The pain that she continues to help others and continues to give misleading statements does not help his mental state. The pain is worsened when she is celebrated by the media and is flanked with awards.
Flanked with awards.
Time Persons of the Year do not act as Swift has acted. Everybody seems to think she's perfect, and Greer has been shamed into silence from sharing his allegations and pain. With filing this complaint, Greer has been called crazy, despite doing thorough research. Come on.
Further, the harassment and the stigma still follows Greer. People will comment and say, "Don't sue me," mocking the Swift ordeal. Or when Greer has tried moving on, Taylor Swift always seems to find a way back to haunt Greer. For instance, Greer has advocated for the legalizations of certain things not related to this complaint. I'll give you one guess what that is, Nick.
It's definitely prostitution.
Yeah. Pimpin', unfortunately, still illegal in Utah. And the reporter who interviewed Greer included in her article Greer's connection to Taylor Swift, and the reporter questioned that Greer might be a misogynist because of the incident with Taylor, practically defaming him. When Greer confronted the reporter about her article, she stated it was information that was needed to be shared. Greer is unsure how suing for vicarious liability equates to how he views women. Similarly, with this complaint, suing a female public figure to failing to warn does not mean he is sexist.
I think it's all the other stuff. I just think it might be all the other stuff that triggered her. I'm not going to agree with the reporter. I think Greer is a lover of women.
A little bit too much, I dare say.
Oh God. Greer believes this all could have been avoided had Swift used disclaimers in her publicity stunts and interviews, and cautioned that her views were not sweeping advances or subtle invitations.
Subtle invitations. There we go again. That was the name of the song we were going to write about him, remember?
Do you know how much I would pay Phil Collins to sing Subtle Invitations?
I was picturing Seal.
Yeah, that would work too. I'll take it all. It's a simple but-for analysis. But for Taylor's use of a disclaimer, this entire mess could have been avoided. That's not how it works. That's the... as Swift created the situation that led to the intentional acts of trolls, libelous articles, etc. Let me briefly explain how the but-for causation works. But-for causation is when something would have happened but for an act that did occur. Not but for an act that didn't occur, right? Like it's you would have just driven home, but for the act of someone ramming you in the side, T-boning your car, because they ran a red light or something like that. It's not it's not this weird hypothetical. You have to have an intervening act, not have the intervening act. Ugh. Oh wait, here we go. The lamotrigine is likely for his bipolar disorder. I still like my guess about ADHD for the other one, or bedwetting. Yeah, bedwetting. Okay, so there you go. Those are that's the medications that he's on. Bipolar disorder and ADHD or bedwetting.
I want to believe the bedwetting, but I'm leaning towards the bipolar.
No, that one's bipolar. The other medication is either ADHD or bedwetting.
Oh, well, I want to believe it's bedwetting still.
So it's either bipolar and ADHD or bipolar and bedwetting. Or maybe both. Maybe both.
Finding out that Swift didn't mean what she implied or stated, and that she was bothered by good intention, dealt an emotional blow to Greer that crippled him emotionally and gave him PTSD. A simple disclaimer would have grounded Greer and not caused him to go to extremes to get her to see his plights, such as going on international news to try to show her manager's negligence. And if she had utilized the disclaimer and he still went through with everything, it would have been on him to accept the outcome. Lunatic. He's an absolute lunatic. I can't get over this.
Oh, God.
Greer files this... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead. Finish it out.
Greer files this complaint before the statute of limitations pertaining to injuries to the person expires on his 1-year PTSD diagnosis, July 16th.
Whew, count 1. Negligence. Failure to warn. Russell Greer realleges each and every allegation in paragraphs 1 through 71 is fully set forth herein. Further, all claims set forth are derived from previous tort law framework. Long-standing case law holds that in certain circumstances and with higher responsibility based upon the risk of the harm, there is a duty to warn. Marine Terminals versus Burnside Shipping Company, holding that there is a duty of care under the circumstances. Go ahead.
Realizing that complaints must comply with the, quote, short and plain statement rule of FRCP 8A2, several persuasive factors must be established must be presented to establish the elements of this count, which will be laid out as concisely as possible in order to fully state a claim for which relief can be granted and to show that this suit isn't frivolous. Washington versus Grace, blah, 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 blah. Truthfully, the actual complaint is only 24 pages. The complaint's additional length is due to the attached exhibits.
There are 10 more pages. Are we on 14 or 19?
We are on 15.
Oh, okay.
Or
Good.
it's 14 on here. It's 15 on my PDF thing.
Okay, yeah, sorry, go ahead. Oh, wait, no, it's my turn. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Swift, as a public figure and an internationally famous celebrity, there's too many commas there, has a right to publicity, which allows her to sway, entice, captivate, promote, and make a profit off her name, image, and works. Memphis Development Foundation versus Factors, etc. I can guarantee you without reading this case that he is improperly applying that citation. As an owner of her intellectual property, though, Swift's rights do not go unchecked. Property owners who own real property are liable for failing to warn of hidden or latent dangers to invitees, licensees, and trespassers, Blair versus Campbell. This pre-existing property law can extend to intellectual property owners, Memphis Development, which the Sixth Circuit reviewed a case of the right of publicity of Elvis to be had by his kin after his death based on the treatment of similar rights. Therefore, similar rights can also include similar liabilities and duties that real property owners hold and extend to intellectual property owners and celebrity influencers.
I'm going to be real with you, Chief. I have no idea what this count means.
It's what he's saying. Okay, so basically, the intellectual property rights of Elvis, his including his right of publicity, which would be the right to use Elvis's image to promote or endorse a product, right? We saw this a little bit in the Maddox lawsuit when Maddox was saying that putting Maddox on a flyer, advertising a road rage, was violating his right of publicity because it made it out that he was endorsing the road rage, which is obviously not what it was doing. But let's say Elvis would wear Old Spice. So then, that would be like an endorsement of Old Spice. So what happened here is what it looks like is that Elvis's next of kin wanted to have the publicity rights for Elvis, so the endorsement rights and therefore rights to income. Russell is then saying because of that is the same as saying that Taylor Swift has a duty to warn people of dangers like pits or spikes or bear traps on their own property. Like he's saying that's her, that she has a similar duty because a property owner has to warn someone if there's a bear trap that they might step on.
Yeah, perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, it is a terrible attempt to meld those two things of law. But he says because intellectual property rights transmitted to real property rights, because in the Elvis case, they transmit directly to money. So it's future interest in real property. That therefore it similarly applies to Taylor Swift, which is
because therefore by the 533 U.S. Code 530 and RICO, Taylor Swift has to go on a date with him.
Yes, that's the long and short of what he's saying. His argument is literally that good. That it's just you have the exact same effect that he does. So go ahead on 77.
Russell, you should have hired me. Further, it is codified in U.S. law that public figures and endorsers who fail to warn and misrepresent with the products that they endorse can be held liable. 16 CFR 255-1A coupled with 16 CFR 255-B, which says that the use of a disclaimer or a warning could prevent FTC civil action. And though the FTC guides lack the force of law, they can be used in deference since they have the power to persuade. They create publicity.
Lastly, no privity of contract is needed to establish liability. Hanbury versus Hearst Corp. Court held that the magazine was liable to third parties based on public policy. Additionally, Tennessee Code 2934-104 states, in all cause of action for personal injury, privity shall not be a requirement to maintain such action. Yeah, you don't have to have a contract with someone to, for them to sue you if you shoot them in the leg. No, that's what that code is about. And you don't have to have an existing contract with someone if they are actually falsely representing something in a sale where a contract is pending. Again, what they're after is not what Russell's talking about.
A duty. With all tort law framework laid out, defendant Taylor Swift owed a duty to plaintiff to have disclaimers that her publicity stunts to further her career were not sweeping advances. Disclaimers not just to him, but to all consumers of her music, to those who follow her on her social media and who rely on her representations, publicity, and intellectual property. Foreseeable, readily identifiable third parties, none of which who have been damaged by Taylor Swift except for Russell Greer. And although she should have used disclaimers broadly, Greer is only arguing this case as applied to him and the damages he has sustained.
Swift owes this duty because she is a prominent public figure, and she should have known that her conduct created a risk of harm to identifiable third parties by them relying on her representations and endorsements. The risk is created by her failing to warn that her publicity stunts and endorsements are not sweeping advances, nor is there a disclaimer of any guarantee of equal recognition or receiving any endorsements or receiving charitable donations from Swift. He wants her money. She should give me charity.
So what he's saying is it's a Title IX complaint.
Yeah, this is... Oh my God. But he's missing it here. He's not an identifiable third party to her until the lawsuit. Like, he wasn't identifiable at all until he sued her. She had no idea who he was.
What are you talking about? She specifically told him that she hates him in her last lawsuit.
God, I wish she would. I wish she would just come out. Just imagine like the next Video Music Awards or whatever, or the Grammys. And she's like, and by the way, I hate Russell Greer. And then he dies. It would be just a tragic story.
I mean, his brain has literally imploded from being called invasive and troubling. I cannot imagine what like a personal call out like that. The poor man would just immediately have a stroke.
But you wouldn't know.
Oh no, nobody's going to be able to help him.
They'd be like, oh, is Russell having a stroke? No, his face is always like that.
Is this your normal drooling or panic droolings? This duty can easily be found with a property law type failure to warn analysis, as Swift owns her image and publicity, or a duty analysis based on public policy by relying on FTC guides and case law concerning public figures using caution with their actions. Satterfield versus Breeding Insulation Co. Duty is owed to strangers when conduct creates risk. Okay.
Oh my God. Denying that Swift owes a duty is essentially saying that she does not have an international influence, which is false.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Listen, court, let me tell you what you're saying here. As she has used her name and star power to influence voters and Congress, Trump's White House dismisses Taylor Swift's VMA plea, calls the Equality Act poison. Good job, Trump's White House, I guess. Calling out Taylor Swift, slaying giants right along Russell Greer. If we could just get Trump to acknowledge Greer, everything will be right with the world.
Yeah, he's got to invite him to the White House. B, a breach of duty. Swift breached her duty by failing to warn that her words, conduct, and endorsements were exclusive for the cause she was endorsing to enrich her career. She breached her duty. She breached her duty by failing to utilize some clear disclaimer that her actions were not sweeping advances. I feel my IQ going down as I make my way through this document.
Public policy dictates that Swift should have utilized disclaimers. The supporting public policy for this claim are federal statutes governing public figure endorsements and an abundance of case law imposing duties to third persons. Even opinions and personal benefits held by public figures are scrutinized under public policy. Kennedy versus Bremerton School District. The circuit ruled that the football coach acted as a public employee and praying on the field was not protected. How on earth is that related to Taylor Swift? The idea that a football coach praying with his team that the football coach could be fired basically for praying with his team at like a public school game. That how on earth can we think that is related to Taylor Swift at all?
Because, Nick, 10 years ago, she went to a prom at a public high school.
Touche. She did. She's also gone to the military ball, which means she's basically an agent of the U.S. government.
Yeah, she is a soldier. Soldier Taylor Swift, Marine Corps. Thus, it is appropriate for this complaint to be filed against Swift, as the harm can be traced back to her failure to warn. The nature of tortfeasor's Swift's breach is that she created the risk of the second tortfeasor's, trolls, defamation, etc. intentional act. Turner versus Jordan.
Wait, what? Sorry,
I have no idea. It's
go
got
ahead.
a few too many brackets for me. Plaintiff has gone to the police about the trolls, but the Communications Decency Act protects websites from third-party conduct, even though the site owner is actively involved. Plaintiff has gone to his senators to change the laws, and his pleas fall on deaf ears. Greer tried suing the site owner for IP infringement, but after consulting with an attorney, the conclusion was that the site has no assets. So
R.I.P. Josh O'Moon.
Big F in the chat room for the assets, please.
Big F for Josh's assets.
So it would make the entire litigation process meaningless and costly for no reason. Not like this one, though. This is going to be a $25 million payday. So this complaint against Swift, who created the risk, as explained in the case law, and who inflicted upon him PTSD, who she failed to warn.
Swift's breach of duty is further supported, by Restatement of Torts Second, which both find liability for information negligently supplied for the guidance of others through the course of one's profession that causes harm. Oh my God. If you've got a boss that tells you the wrong way to get promoted, that's liability. That's not what they're talking about here, Greer. She negligently supplied information to further her own interests with her words and actions to her fans and consumers by touting their gifts and praising them, and supposedly fighting for minorities that guided Greer to do as previously explained, and she failed to warn. Actions are just as strong as words and can create an endorsement. He's got this all backwards, and I thought just his initial statement of it was stupid, but his explanation is dumber. So yeah, if you have like a mentor in your workplace who tells you to do the wrong thing maliciously and cause you to get fired rather than getting promoted, that can cause harm and create some liability, right? That's the idea, what he's talking about. But then he says that she negligently supplied information to further her own interests. So she was guiding herself, but then Russell took the guidance that she was doing for her own benefit and then just vomited all over his career. Good job, Russell.
I also like that he implies that he is a minority.
Yes, supposedly helping minorities.
Taylor Swift hates black people and people without seventh facial cranial nerves. Greer isn't saying that Swift doesn't have a choice to choose which charity she gives to or which projects or people she endorses. Plaintiff is clearly stating that when she makes such endorsements to further her career, she use a disclaimer or some other warning that would have averted the losses Greer has suffered. No common knowledge can be found in terms or if Swift meant for her publicity to be sweeping advances or not. If he did, he wouldn't have undertook what he went through. In terms of common sense, all arguments point to disclaimers as she made them to further her career. Amendola versus RJ Reynolds Tobacco. A smoker couldn't recover damages because of common knowledge with cigarette warning labels.
Okay. Causation. The harm can be traced to Swift. As explained with the Turner case, she created the risk with her breach of duty. The defamatory articles stem back to Swift, and the trolls cite Swift as one of the reasons for harassing Greer. Now, Greer hasn't actually established defamation or harassment in any way. He would have to prevail in those claims to do so. Swift should have known that by negligently and carelessly making such misrepresentations, she would be risking the safety of those who wanted that same recognition. How? How is she risking the safety? She risked Greer's safety. Oh, good. He explains it. By creating a situation that put him in the crosshairs of trolls who have made him physically and mentally fear for his life.
How do you physically fear for your... Oh, wait. I'm confused.
Such mental trauma has resulted in physical ailments with his PTSD. Mental and physical ailments stemming from giving his all to impress somebody he cared about only to be left in the mud by her. He needs to find a way to monetize these lawsuits. That's what he needs to do. These are gold.
He does. He needs to charge tickets or something. I bet if he set up a Twitch channel, he'd get a lot of attention.
Yeah, he's got to do it.
Undoubtedly, Swift is aware of cyberbullying because she wrote a song about how haters gonna hate in her song. You not ready for that one?
Nope.
In her song, Shake It Off. But sometimes haters don't just hate or say mean things. In Greer's case, they have ruined him reputationally, emotionally, economically. Swift should have known that surely such representations would cause trauma and chaos because she gave to a charity.
Swift also risked Greer's mental safety by making such representations, and then the shock and blow of discovering that such determination wasn't welcomed by her is one of the reasons Greer has PTSD. The second rejection solidified the first, if there was any doubt of mind, and the harassment only made it worse.
Indeed. But for Taylor Swift's lack of implementing disclaimers, Greer, a foreseeable third party, wouldn't have gone to extremes, so to speak, to get Swift to see his efforts, such as initiating suit for the conduct of her agents because he truly believed, God, this is a disaster of a sentence, because he truly believed that if she saw his efforts, that she would have been inspired, as Greer embodies everything Swift advocates for. Greer wouldn't have tried relying on an academic theory if there were no endorsement that such a theory-based action would be welcomed or noticed or understood. However, it wouldn't have mattered if he instead did a more low-key approach and did a video on YouTube to get it to trend, and the same results happened because either scenario, he relied on her representation and gets harmed.
So wait a minute. Greer wouldn't have tried relying on an academic theory if there was no endorsement that such a theory-based action would be welcomed or noticed or understood. However, it wouldn't have mattered if he instead did a more low-key approach, did a video on YouTube to get it to trend, and the same results happened because either scenario, he relied on her representations and gets harmed. Okay, so he's saying that even if he did it a completely different way, anything other than Taylor Swift falling in love with him and giving him a hand job behind a Denny's, anything other than that result, no matter
An Olive Garden, come on, she's classy.
Well, no, they ate at the Olive Garden, but the handy was behind the Denny's.
Don't be disgusting. It was an Applebee's.
But the only way it would work out is if she acknowledged him and loved him. That's it. No matter what, it's entirely her fault. That's great. That's brilliant. For the record, Greer, in a way to try to getting over his Taylor Swift pain, reached out to other celebrities he admired.
Oh, no.
Doing gifts that were frankly much better than the Swift gift. And he never sued or did anything outlandish for those celebrities to notice him because no representation of helping others or commercially saying things like underdogs was ever given for Greer to rely upon. And so Greer took the risk of investing and didn't feel his investments were worth fighting for because there was no reliance or given representations like the ones Swift gave. And for all he knows, the Swift incident could have scared the others off, which is not a presumption because Greer had been talking to a publicist for a major celebrity, and then the publicist vanished. Horatio got him. Horatio. The fact that Greer has not sued any of these celebrities should solidify his reliance arguments as sincere, and therefore reliance establishes causation. Oh my God. Oh, I wish he would have listed the other hateful celebrities who are not as good as Taylor Swift.
Well, we know one is Ariana Grande because he sued her.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, but he was saying the ones he didn't sue.
I think he wrote a song about Kylie Jenner at one point, but he's probably not interested in that because she's dating a guy now.
Oh my God. What a mess.
Whew. Hang in there. Okay, final stretch.
Yeah.
Public figures already do use disclaimers with their social media. On Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, public figures can request to have a blue verification check mark next to their name so that it shows it's their real account, which prevents them from fraud liability since scammers like to pose as celebrities. A scam that Russell has fallen for multiple times. An additional disclaimer with publicity stunts and social endorsements, whether it be a similar symbol or an advisory, would not be a burden to be implemented.
Notice that citation is to the AARP.
Oh my God.
It's an article for old people to not get taken in by scammers that Russell is citing. I just found that funny.
The name of it is something like, "No, Conway Twitty is not messaging you." The conclusion with causation is that we admit this event was foreseeable, or we admit that Taylor Swift is clueless about her star power. Both conclusions cannot coexist.
The problem with his conclusion is that her being clueless about her star power doesn't make her liable for his damages. So she could just say, yeah, I was clueless about how it would hurt people. That's it. No.
What do you mean she wouldn't predict that Russell would literally kill himself because she said she didn't like him?
Okay. Damages. With Swift's breach of duty to have disclaimers, with her publicity stunts and intellectual property, and with the causation linking to that breach of duty, Greer has incurred physical, emotional, economical, and monetary damages. Greer's day-to-day life is difficult with PTSD. It is hard for him to focus or to live a carefree life without encountering Swift's image or hearing her music in public places. I haven't heard Taylor Swift's music or encountered her image in months.
Maybe it's like that thing where, like, when you're pregnant, you see a bunch of pregnant women on the street because you're looking for it.
Yeah, like when you buy a green car, then suddenly you notice how many there are on the road.
Right, like you're not constantly triggered by Taylor Swift, so you aren't thinking about her.
That's true.
But she's there. She's watching.
She's always watching from the magazine section. His head tightened, and he has to lie down often to get it to subside. Despite working with a counselor, Greer has been unable to work through his PTSD or bitter feelings towards Swift. Greer's trauma will be with him for the rest of his life. Compiling this complaint has been difficult, as he has had to encounter Swift's image and research her, finding things that inflame his PTSD and his penis.
With the advent of search engines and gossip troll sites, which Greer has been a victim of many troll sites, Greer's online presence and his reputation have been ruined, damages that will follow him for the rest of his life, thus becoming lifelong harm. Among the first results of him on search engines are the false news reports of him and Taylor Swift. Bloggers and commentators have taken their own spin on the ordeal and have defamed Greer's name. I think that's you, Nick.
God, I wish I was named in it.
Even simply making a comment online, the demons twist his words.
The demons!
The goddamn gremlins, robbing him of the fundamental right of self-expression. That is what the First Amendment means, by the way, kids.
Yes. Absolutely.
The trolls with follow where Greer interacts online and say, watch out, he sued Taylor Swift for XYZ of false information. Don't associate with him. Greer is in constant fear that people he does business with will find the defamation and shun or fire him.
Russell, will never judge you. I will never judge you or listen to the trolls. If you want to talk to me, Russell, I will talk to you. Email me. And we can set it up anytime.
Russell, I will spend 30 minutes with you at a fast casual restaurant of your choice. I am not as good looking as Taylor Swift, but I am a woman. And you do not need to pay me.
Greer has lost family relationships, friend connections, and business connections because of the trauma of Taylor Swift. His family tells him to get over it, resulting in shouting matches and strained relationships. I wonder who's doing the shouting there. Greer's friends get annoyed by his focusing on the trauma of it when nobody knows the pain of getting rejected by a public figure. Twice. And the fallout that has resulted from it. Greer lost a connection with his publicist because of the 2019 event with Swift. I like how it's an event with Swift, entirely initiated by him. Greer's own flesh and blood want nothing to do with him, thinking of him as deranged. To simply say, get over it, is very hurtful and ignorant of what has happened.
Although Greer has showed sufficiently that his complaint has merit, to solidify his damages, he wishes to contrast his case with other cases filed against Swift that were blatantly frivolous. I'm sorry, I can't read that last sentence.
To emphasize the stark difference of the damage of true damages. Gyllenhaal v. Swift.
Plaintiff claimed Swift stole his credit card and gave him herpes. That's Russell's dream.
Oh, I wonder if he won.
2 inmates claim Swift stole their idea for her album, 1989, in the year 1989, disregarding the fact that she was born that year. Mueller versus Swift, civil action. Man sued Swift after sexually assaulting her. The case got way too much media attention over a frivolous claim.
Yeah, that's the one where I think that's the one where he touched her butt and she said it and then he sued her. And then they put out like pictures or whatever that he did. Is that the one?
Yeah, I think that's what happened. Silva versus Task Right Management. A man whose antics resemble John Hinckley Jr. has filed 5 lawsuits against Swift for rather bizarre claims. Yeah, couldn't be Russ. No, this guy's totally different.
Yeah.
Creepily admits to hopping the fence at Swift's mother's house. All of these cases were frivolous. Greer's complaint clearly and truthfully states a claim for relief.
Don't lump me in with these weirdos.
Yeah, no, I'm not anything like that guy. I only broke into her house once.
Based on the severity of the harm Greer has suffered and Swift's breach of duty to warn, a jury at trial should determine the facts and determine that Swift should be found liable for $22 million. Plaintiff asked for $22 million for not only compensatory damages, which when calculating emotional damages, reputational damages, economical damages, loss of family relationships, puts the damage amount around $22 million, but also because the amount is symbolic. He was 22 when he decided he would impress Taylor Swift. And in that decision, relying on her publicity ruined his life. Greer would ask for punitive damages, but Tennessee law only allows punitive damages when the defendant has been reckless. Greer can only prove negligence.
Oh, and there you have it, folks. With the finding of damages, it would cause a change in Swift's behavior and cause her to utilize disclaimers, which could result in the entire entertainment industry following suit. The primary purpose of damages is to cause a change in defendant's behavior. Russell Greer realleges each and every allegation in paragraph 1 to 103 hereof as if fully set forth herein.
Okay. I got a super chat just a second. RL says, this level of entertainment deserves so much more than this, but it is all I got at the moment. Thanks to Heel vs. Babyface for recommending you. Hey, cheers, Sal. Welcome to the channel. I appreciate it. Oh. Okay. In order to state a claim for negligent infliction of emotional distress, this is one of the hardest civil claims to prove that there is.
Well, I think he's done it well.
A plaintiff must first establish the basic negligence claims, which Greer did so in count 1, Kilpatrick versus Bryant. In count one, Greer showed how Swift had a duty to warn. She breached her duty with her omissions. The proximate cause from the breach of duty to the damages can be traced to Swift, as her negligence created the damages he suffered from her and from others. you want to go ahead and finish out the count, that'd be...
Yeah, okay. In his damages and allegations, he provides proof that a licensed therapist diagnosed him with PTSD. This diagnosis satisfied the last element of negligently induced emotional distress. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
As the claimed injury or impairment must be supported by expert medical or scientific proof. Therefore, Greer has stated a claim for which relief can be granted.
There you go. Count 3, declaratory judgment. Russell Greer realleges each and every allegation, paragraphs 1 through 109, hereof as if fully set forth herein, pursuant to 28 USC 2201. This court may declare the rights and other legal relations of any interested party seeking such declaration, whether or not further relief is or could be sought. Any such declaration shall have the force and effect of a final judgment or decree and shall be reviewable as such. By reason of the foregoing, there is a present controversy between Russell Greer and Taylor Swift for which a declaratory judgment should be entered. Russell Greer has no adequate remedy at law.
Page 24, trial by fire. Russell Greer hereby requires trial by jury on all issues wherein trial by jury is permissible. Prayer for relief. Wherefore, Russell Greer prays for judgment against Taylor Swift as follows. Compensatory damages in the amount of $2 million. General and special damages to be found by a jury in accordance with the facts for the jury to find up to $20 million. And award of pre- and post-judgment interest. Russell Greer be awarded trial by jury on all issues triable by jury and such other and further relief as court deems just and proper, and one date to the Olive Garden in Salt Lake City, Amtrak tickets included.
This is interesting because he has a count for a declaratory judgment, but he doesn't ask for the declaratory relief in his prayer for relief. Like he doesn't.
What do you mean? He made a mistake in here?
No, I would never allege such slander against Russell. It's just weird. He wants a declaratory judgment, but what does he want the declaration to say? Whether or not further relief is or could be sought? I mean, he talks about why a declaratory judgment, why he can seek one, but he doesn't seek the declaration. Like, he should put what he wants the court to actually declare.
You should send this video to Russell. I'm sure he'd listen and take all of our suggestions.
Like, I assume what he wants the court to say is that Taylor Swift must use disclaimers. That's the declaration he wants, because forcing her to use the disclaimers is beyond the compensation of the damages so far, but that's to prevent further harm for her unlawful and seedy activities that she does every day. But he just doesn't ask for it. It's wild. Like, why?
It's almost like Russell Greer only cares about Russell Greer.
Yeah.
And here we have it at the end. He did not sign his own lawsuit.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think what he does here is his attempt at an electronic signature, but it's not a correct one. It should be /S/ in the byline. And then it should be, Russell Greer below that, pro se litigant. The /R Greer / I think that's him saying he's electronically signing it. And they probably notified him that that was not actually signed.
It looks like a Reddit. It looks like a r/ Russell Greer.
Oh my God. What a disaster. This is of course a completely frivolous lawsuit. It has no chance of going anywhere in court. Taylor Swift's lawyers will likely push for vexatious litigant status in dismissing it, based on this is now the third action they've had to defend, although only the second in the Federal District of Tennessee. So
right. This is the third time he has tried to sue Taylor Swift. A lot of this is just copy and pasted from the last Taylor Swift lawsuit. Hopefully he figures out how to serve it this time.
She's very hard to reach. It's hard. I tried it on backstage passes, but the security guards wouldn't let me through with a big bundle of papers.
They told me I was drunk, and so I sued them all.
Siren Jag says, as Lamoni, Russell Greer has a fucked up face-itis, and I'm an expert in fucked up body farts. I mean, I can take a look at a body fart and know in 5 seconds whether a medical school is going to accept that when you die. That thing is a reject. Shit. There you go.
That no lies detected.
Mm. Mm. It is really, really hard to swallow with those lips in. It is awful. It is very terrible, actually. Okay. All right, guys. We are now at the crucial point in the stream. This is the lawsuit. We're going to switch to the deep lore now. And we've got you've got the document, I assume.
Yeah, this one's for real Russ heads in the chat tonight. Should we talk about what Russ alleges happened on this incident first before we jump into?
Would you be so kind as to
absolutely
remind the chat what happened?
So Russell Greer's incidents involving the legal system of Utah began when he was 18 years old. This is the story that Russell claims happened. Russell claims that his parents scheduled a surgery for him to have his tonsils removed. He claimed that while he was in the bathroom one day, he decided to pull a hearty senior prank. So he took out a Sharpie out of his pocket and wrote on the bathroom stall that something terrible, ambiguous, something terrible is going to happen on the date that he would be out for his surgery. I don't know if he specified the exact date in the book. I don't remember. I'm sure he did. He then claims that he left the back room, and from there, another kid went into the bathroom and then added to what he wrote that he had a kill list and then listed a series of names that he was going to come to high school and murder. So the police checked the camera footage and I guess saw that he was the first one to go to the bathroom that day or something. So they hauled him in, and then he admitted that he had wrote that one line on the bathroom, but not the rest of it. And his parents hired him a real good lawyer, and nothing ever came of this.
Yeah, that's the gist. And I'm guessing that's exactly what happens in the police report that we have here. So what we have the actual police report from the Evanston Police Department. And this was reported on December 3rd, 2009. And was eventually disposed December 9th, 2009. So we've got it here. Police reports are often a complete mess. Oh, this one is broken into paragraphs. Okay, that's nice.
Terrorism. The charge is terrorism.
The charge is terrorism. You can see here at the bottom of the first page, terrorism is a charge. Russell G. Greer is the arrested. The complainant is the Evanston High School. The witness is blanked out. Miranda card. Document confession and document handwriting. So those are things that exist, just so we know.
Okay.
So we're going to see what actually happened, and we'll do the exact same thing with let's just trade off on paragraphs.
Yeah,
again.
Let's do it.
So the narrative. This officer was advised by redacted witness name, who is a student at Evanston High School, about a disturbing writing he observed in the men's restroom across from the main office. Porter then showed this officer the writing, which was located, I assume Porter is the school porter, not the person's last name. It'd be embarrassing if they didn't, blank that out. Showed this officer the writing, which was located on the farthest left stall as you enter the restroom, and upon the wall tile to this stall. The writing stated, "This is not a joke. On December 18th, I am bringing a gun with 2 ends, and I will kill 8 people on my list. Beware." Beware is underlined.
The scene was processed and no prints of evidentiary value were obtained. Detective Smith also responded. The writing was photographed and saved on this officer's laptop and camera.
This officer, teachers, and staff have been alerted, and numerous papers of students have been obtained. However, no close similarities of students' writings have been obtained. Video camera number 18 of the school security cameras are currently being reviewed. Nothing further at this time. So that was on the initial date. Now we move up to December 9th.
Oh, Mr. Merrill Lester, who is the assistant vice principal of the Evanston High School, had the opportunity to review the school's video system as mentioned above. Several students were noted to be in the restroom for over 3 minutes, and handwriting samples were obtained. However, one student named Russell Greer was observed going into the restroom and not coming out for approximately 7 minutes on the day in question, December 3rd, 2009. Mr. Lester then obtained some schoolwork that was completed by Russell Greer. After reviewing this writing, this officer, Merrill Lester, Dave Bennett, who is the principal, and Officer Chris Bracken all agreed that the handwriting of the schoolwork was very similar to the writing that was photographed on the bathroom wall. Epically similar was the letter K and how Russell Greer made his lowercase b in the form of a 6.
Epically similar letter Ks. I want to point out that this guy's name is Merle Lester.
Oh my God, you're right. Well, that's unfortunate.
Mr. Merle Lester. Jesus Christ. That's the worst school staff name you could have, is Merle Lester.
Holy shit, in a high school too. Jesus.
At approximately 13:30 hours on 12/8/2009, Russell Greer was asked to meet with this officer and Officer Chris Bracken at the Evanston High School office. Russell Greer was first questioned to see how things were going, and that we were concerned about his recent drop in grades and behavior. Russell was also informed that he did not have to talk to us, but that this is a matter of school security. Russell stated that he would talk, first mistake, and stated he would be glad to help, second mistake. This officer then informed Russell that a writing was found on one of the restrooms that was very threatening, and that we believed he may be the person who wrote this writing. Russell immediately stated that he did, but could not remember exactly what was written.
Yeah, that sounds plausible.
Russell further stated that he wrote something about bringing a gun and 8 people.
Oh.
This officer then asked Russell if he would be able to show us what bathroom he wrote this writing and where in the bathroom he wrote it. Russell then took Officer Bracken and myself to the main restroom across from the main office. Russell then went to the very last stall closet, closest to the tiled wall, and informed us that this was the stall. This officer then asked Russell to show where on the stall he wrote the writing. Russell then pointed to where the writing was and stated to the effect that it's gone, pointing to the very location where the writing was before being cleaned off.
Why is he just incriminating himself like this?
I don't know. Well, I think everything he does is for attention, and it started here.
Probably. Russell was then asked to come back to the office. Once there, Russell completed a statement of rights waiver. Russell then agreed to complete a written confession and again confessed to what he had done. It should also be mentioned that during this time, Officer Bracken asked Russell what tool he used to make this writing. Russell replied that he used a pencil, this being consistent with the material on the wall.
Russell Greer was then taken into custody, transported, and booked into the Uinta County Jail after having a meeting with his mother and Principal Bennett. An affidavit of information was completed and returned to the Uinta County Attorney for prosecution.
It was also be mentioned that Russell never gave a reason why he wrote this other than stating that he had a bad day. His confession states that he had been teased, harassed, and bullied because of his disability. Russell further states that he actually tried twice to commit suicide by hanging himself. Russell further stated that one time he actually put a rope around his neck and tried to choke himself. That seems like a prerequisite for attempting to hang yourself, but what do I know?
Look, I guess yeah, I think that's only one time he actually tried to hang himself, right? Like,
yeah.
You had a bad day. You write a kill list. Like, what the?
You spell gun with 2 N's.
What is his plan here? So that's it. I mean, he admits to all of it.
Immediately
admits to it. Says he doesn't remember exactly what was written, but something about a gun and 8 people. You know, just those facts. Here's the disposition of the case. if we go back, it goes from bottom to top. The case was filed. He was arrested on the 9th. He had a hearing for his initial appearance. He had a waiver of his right to an attorney. He had bond set at $25,000 cash only, with terms of no federal or state or local crimes. Keep his probation officer informed of address, keep weekly contact with attorney, make all court appearances, refrain from any dangerous weapons. He had a hearing scheduled on the 18th. Let's see, on the 16th, motion to continue his preliminary hearing filed, need additional time. Hearing result for preliminary hearing held. Waiver of his rules, order continuing. Okay, then on the 21st, motion to continue filed again. Additional time to reach plea agreement. And then he had his order granting furlough from jail detention issued on the 22nd. Signed copy of his order granting furlough. Motion for bond reduction filed. Amended release conditions were filed. Hearing scheduled for the 22nd of January, the next year. That was continued again. This goes into February. Motion to continue again. Hearing scheduled for April. And then on the 16th of March, motion for dismissal without prejudice filed. Order issued. G. Phillips, the state feels that further investigation in the matter is necessary. Hearing result for preliminary hearing held. It was dismissed on motion of the prosecutor on March 16th, 2010. So they decided not to prosecute on March 16th of 2010. Was the end result of this.
Can you tell how long he was in jail for reading this?
Depends on if they bailed him out. Well, his bond conditions were reduced. Let's see. First Amendment release condition issued. Bond amended to $25,000. Personal recognizance with same conditions as previously mentioned. What? That's weird. Oh, what? I guess I'm trying to figure out what changed. So he had a $25,000 bond, and then it says it was amended to $25,000, but personal recognizance with the same conditions as previously imposed. So maybe it was $25,000 bond, or he was released on his personal recognizance with same conditions. Since it's all in shorthand, it's really hard to tell. That's what I would think. But it looks like if that was the case, he was in jail for 19 days.
Oh, not long enough.
Not long enough, but 19 days if he was in jail the whole time. But it looks like, well, order granting a furlough was on the 23rd, so maybe it was only 13 days or something. 14.
He does talk in his book about like spending a couple weeks in jail, so that makes sense. Wow, yeah. This is truly eye-opening. Somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks is what it looks like. And then I have this other thing, his terroristic threats charge report, but that's it. It was dismissed by prosecution. So there you go, guys. That is the story of Russell Greer as we have it right now. But who to believe? That's the real question.
Someone's asking if the judge was related. Oh, the judge is named Michael Greer.
Oh my God.
That's kind of interesting.
That's real interesting.
He likely wouldn't be a blood relative because Russell was adopted. But he could be some family relation, I suppose. That's wild.
I think
if I had to guess as to why the prosecution dismissed it, if he was actually, so this is 91 that he was born, 2009. It doesn't say what his actual date of birth was, but it's late in 2009. He should be 18. No, I would. If he happened to not be 18 at the time and he signed away all of his rights, that would be a problem. But it looks like he was 18. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know why they would dismiss it. Maybe there was some pressure for it. Maybe they didn't think they could sustain a conviction. Maybe they threatened to say that the officers touched him while he was in the bathroom. I don't know.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, it's however he got off of those charges is really great. Have you heard of the guy who's trying to rival Russell Greer in suing for great things?
No, who is it?
He's a guy who's trying to sue Twitch for having attractive women on the platform.
Oh no, what did the attractive women do? Just have boobs, or? He's
a sex addict and apparently has suffered some sort of injury during the coronavirus because he had nothing to do but watch Twitch.
And masturbate? Or?
I think that's the underlying issue. It's
I was convinced it was going to be a coin flip between sex addict or like Christian extremist.
It's apparently the sex addiction that is doing it. Let's see. Here are the harms he describes. I have the full document, but not readily available. The plaintiff had purchased a fleshlight previously, which went largely unused until Twitch. Mr. Estevillo.
Oh, no.
Mr. Estevillo began using this device while he watches female Twitch streamers and often ends up chafing his penis every day with the device, making it extremely painful and constant, which ends up causing redness and mild infections at the tip since the fleshlight is electrical and also vibrates.
It's electrical? What?
Yeah, fleshlights, it's like a thing, and it has stuff inside that goes round the outside, and massages as well. So it's like,
oh my God, I thought it was just like a tube.
It's like an inverted vibrator, so to speak, something like that. The plaintiff, therefore, often has to use Neosporin on his tip to prevent necrosis. The plaintiff often stays up for hours staring at the breasts of girl streamers, which ends up damaging his retina and making his eyes bloodshot for days. Eye drops do nothing to hide his shame from his parents, and he's often questioned by people he comes into contact with as to why his eyes are so bloodshot and red, which leads to further embarrassment and isolation. The plaintiff once ejaculated on his PC monitor, causing a short circuit and small fire within the electrical system of his gaming rig, and caused his apartment to black out temporarily.
Wait. So is he saying that the jizz caught the computer on fire, or
yes,
just the force of his ejaculation?
The jizz caused a short and lit the computer on fire.
This is the angle Russell needs to take on his next lawsuit, is that he fapped to Taylor Swift so much that his penis is now broken. He should say that that's how he got his disability.
I will lead the GoFundMe charge for Russell to get a fleshlight. Oh my God, that is amazing.
That is truly incredible.
He stares at breasts so long that it damages his retinas. Oh my God. So I'm gonna be going through that suit soon.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
It sounds like a laugh riot. Well, that's what we've got for Russell. I've got some super chats to read through, if you don't mind, and then we can wrap up the show. I know it's late where you are, and I definitely want to respect your time. I don't want to make representations that you rely on to cause harm to you.
Listen, I am in the Greer zone, which may be construed as a reputation or a representation.
Okay, Phoenix. Moist John says a year to make a 1 to 2 minute video, and you still hate it after. Yeah, I know that feel. Oh no, Moist, don't do that. Should we watch it real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Or well, it wasn't the video. It was just the SoundCloud, right?
Have you seen the new one? I Don't Get You, Taylor Swift. We've watched that, right?
I have not. I've never seen it.
Oh, I'm gonna pull you up the version that somebody made. I'm sorry, sir. I think his name is Citruset or something. Somebody made a version of it with like awful quotes Russell has put on Facebook, juxtaposed against. I'm emailing it to you right now. Should I email it to you or chat it to you?
However, you could chat it in the window here.
There we go.
That'll work. Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, so someone made an unofficial fan video, is what we've got here.
Yeah, flip me off the screen so you can see it.
Well, no, I can pull it up with you on the screen still. So,
oh, okay.
I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it's just your avatar, but no reason to do that. Get that thing off. How do I do this? Oh, here it is. Where did it go? Where did it go? I don't get you, Taylor Swift. Okay, here we go. All right. Although you won't, I'll have to give you a 3, 2, 1 go on it.
Yeah, I'll play it.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh my.
Kiwi Orchards.
God.
Can't imagine being 15 and waiting for Romeo on that
Not a
white
day.
horse, making you believe it was a love story. I know heartbreak all too well. I get you, I get you. When I got down, I turned up your sick beats. So I wrote you a song to say thanks for helping me get on my feet. But good intentions hit the fan. Yes, you don't like your fans.
Not a date.
It's making me sick.
Never a date.
Girl, I don't get you. I'm not Taylor Swift. Girl, I don't get you. Say things you really don't mean, and that's quite mean. Girl, I don't get you. I really don't get you.
Loser.
Was a summer of 16. Finished my song for you.
Oh
Sorry
God.
if it's cheesy. Thinking it wasn't easy. But you put a nice space over my name. I don't get you. I don't get you.
That's plain.
When I got down, I turned up your sick beats. So I wrote you a song to say thanks for helping me get on my feet. But good intentions hit the fan. Yes, you don't like your fans, and it's making me sick. Girl, I don't
That's
get
from the
you.
book.
I'm not Taylor Swift. Girl, I don't get you.
Oh, there's the meme.
You say things you really don't mean, and that's quite mean. Girl, I don't get you. I really don't get you.
It's still. That's only halfway. That's half
What do
the
you
song.
do? What do you do? Ignore my emails.
It's not about what you know. It's all about who you know. It's not about what you know. It's all about who you know. So that's why I thought you'd be inspired by my song.
Whoever sang this is unironically great.
Guess I got you wrong.
Does Taylor Swift have AIDS?
Girl, I don't get you.
The chorus video.
Girl, I don't get you. Say things you really don't mean, and that's quite mean. Girl, I don't get you. No, girl, I don't get you. I'm not Taylor Swift. Girl, I don't get you.
Why is Morgan Freeman?
Say things you really don't mean, and that's quite mean. Girl, I don't get you. I really don't get you.
Oh my God. That was amazing.
Isn't that the best thing you've ever? I think that has more views than the actual song.
So wait, So Russell wrote that song. and he had a production company do it, like the first one, right?
Yes, correct.
Robbie Johnson, featuring Robbie Johnson. That guy is a legend.
We got to get that guy on the show.
I would hire Robbie Johnson to sing any song I ever wrote. I think he's amazing. That was how do you get through that song without dying? Like I don't get it.
The willpower it must have taken.
Oh my God. And the Kiwi farmer, whoever put that together. This is from the Great Citrus Set on YouTube. Watch the super special updated version here.
There's an updated version?
Yeah, it was updated. I'm not going to play it, the whole thing, because we just did it, but it was updated just a couple days later.
Well, I can't wait to watch that the second I get off this stream.
That one is criminally underviewed. That one only has 500 views. The other one had several thousand. But yeah, to that guy, whatever Kiwi farmer put that together, or who I assume it was a Kiwi farmer. Having him get attacked with autistic ratings was premium right there. That was beautiful. Oh, thank you for that. So for the chat, if you're not familiar with that, why that song is so funny and why it is also so important. So important to our lives, to history, to the posterity of music. Russell Greer's original song that he wrote for Taylor Swift as a gift, definitely not as a proposition for business, and also
not a song to do,
and not a song to date. None of those things. Was called "I Get You, Taylor Swift," and it was like 2 embarrassing minutes of him abusing her song titles like he was Jerry Sandusky and they were children, and just putting together this dumpy little homage song. Exactly what you would expect, right? A fan writing a song as a gift. It's literally, to give Russell credit, it's exactly what you would expect, like a 13-year-old kid to do, writing to their idol Taylor Swift, writing a song for her. The problem was this guy was like, 30 almost. But yeah, he wrote that. So now he don't get you, Taylor Swift, instead of I do get you.
Amazing.
Oh my God. Okay. Moisten My Lips Daddy says, what's a Skillet's favorite cowboy song? Home on the Range. A brief summary of acorns. In a nutshell, they're oak trees. These are dad jokes. This is not even good. Why couldn't Helen Keller drive? She was a woman. P.S. There's no such thing as pandemics. Just bidemics that wish they were special. Oh, come on. Olkiora says, if you like robots and killing in your anime, then Inuyashiki, Last Hero, would be great for a future wash party. I'll keep it in mind. Crusader Saracen says, did you hear that the case against Flynn has been dismissed now? Yes. Hope the guy can live the rest of his life in peace, or at least come back with a fiery vengeance that burns down the entire fetid swamp. Any grounds for a lawsuit from him? Probably not. Maybe. He probably doesn't want it, though. He probably just wants to be done. Mercenary X says, Nick, I need all the prayers you can give my family. I wish I was trolling. I really wish it wasn't real. My mom's cousin, her son, and her daughter got beer bug. Oh, coronavirus. The son was a retired Marine. He died this week. Holy shit. Now the other 2 are worried. They are not good. Well, best wishes to them, pal. Hopefully they will have a recovery. Sorry to hear about the son. That sucks. Crusader Saracen says, this Russell Greer guy is making leaps of logic that would make Evel Knievel proud. Is he representing himself? Yes, of course he is.
Absolutely.
I don't know how he could afford a lawyer if he is both broke and homeless. Look, you're wrong on that. Russell Greer could absolutely afford a lawyer, and there are dozens of lawyers just banging down his door, hoping to represent him in the cases. The problem is, or there would be. The problem is they all know that his actual lawyer friend, who is definitely real, got firebombed by the Mexican mafia hired by Taylor Swift to enforce the media blackout on the case.
That's true.
That's from the book. No, we're not kidding.
Ken is not dead, though. The lawyer is not dead. He just had third-degree burns and his skin grafts all over his body.
Something like 70% of his body.
Yes.
That is Ken. Ken has made it through, though, and but he has also, I think he has also said that he would no longer advise Russell after such a severe incident.
I mean, who would?
Yeah, I wouldn't. How could you go on?
He's a family.
Fac Uniga says, finally more GREERSTREAM. Time for a new trend everyone will hate. Alexa, add Fac Uniga to the to-do list. So there you go. Macca Jr. says, told my wife about the whole orc thing, and she couldn't stop laughing at how stupid it was for 10 minutes straight. Also, what's your favorite Schwarzenegger, Stallone, and Van Damme movie? I mean, the only one they're all in is, Expendables 2. But I think you mean individually. My favorite Schwarzenegger movie has got to be Hercules in New York. My favorite Stallone movie is Over the Top. And my favorite Van Damme movie is Bloodsport. Zachary Smith says, if it isn't the biased judge himself, thanks for bringing me my day with your entertaining video, brightening me my day with your entertaining videos. Thank you. You're welcome. I assume that typography was reference to suck me my penis.
Suck me my penis.
If you haven't used the suck me my penis line at least every day of your life, then you're not really manning. Romer Migtow says, extra money for the bacon chip taco truck. Yes, we have no banana stands, and good evening, spicy sriracha. Sriracha, have you ever had bacon chips?
No, what is that?
I went to Canada and a guy brought me bacon chips, and it was a bag of bacon that was like chunks that were a half inch to an inch thick of bacon that were deep fried.
That sounds delectable. It
was some of the best things I've ever eaten. It was the only reason that Canada still exists, in my opinion. I want so many more of them. I am Pinhead says, blacked out on Lagavulin and told a woman I love her. What whiskey should I drink to cope with the rejection? Oh no. Military special, probably, after you enlist, to deal with it. You could also just sue her for her representations to you. Greer has shown you the way. Shadows King 101 says, hey, Taylor. Thank you. Nivok the Orc says, does Sriracha know Tech9 made a song about her ages ago?
Who is? No, I'm sorry. I don't. Tweet it at me. I'll listen to it.
Yeah, you got to tweet it to her. Her Twitter is in the description. Are you a fan of Tech9?
I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
It was a rapper from like the late 90s, early 2000s. I think that's the time frame. What about Tekashi 6ix9ine? Are you a fan of him?
That's the pedophile, right?
No, he was the guy who ordered the murders and then ended up not doing life in prison by ratting out all of the Bloods.
I think he was also a pedophile too.
I'm guessing he was, but I don't want to hang that on him. He's been through enough.
He's a hard life, guys.
Ludwig World Order says, Russell was recently taken to court over cyber harassment. The transcript of the remote call is on Kiwi. On Kiwi, not Wiki. Interestingly, same letters in Wiki and Kiwi. I never noticed until just now. Apollo 26 says, I admittedly only stream I stopped was his book outtake you. Admit the only stream I stopped was his book outtake you. Oh, okay. There's a lot of spacing issues in that super chat. So I wasn't sure. Lil Poo Poo says, I triggered Ron on stream. He didn't like the Monica getting spit roasted by Chad and Tyrone comment. Said Tyrone is a black name. What a racist. I wonder why he didn't like that comment. Ludwig World Order says, shout out based Scordis. Big ups the dude. Whoever his base scored is hilarious. Thank you.
Oh, that's the guy on the. Oh, I already told you about that.
Yeah, I'm just saying whoever that actually is, that is very funny. Good name, and I'm glad the judge admitted him to the call. Matt Fields, welcome to Super Lawyer status. I appreciate it. Just another person says, Nick, you need another haircut. You no longer look like a lesbian. Well, I got to fix that. Matt Fields says, Nick's mafia name is Pussyface. Damn. Next, he says, Jill, hold right hand out and extend thumb. That's how Russell relies on Taylor Swift, you know, fam. Some guys just rely on the best imaginary girlfriend. Okay. Hildred Castagnet says, she shills sea shills by the sea sure. Solemn says, oh my god, I googled Russell to see what he looks like, and in only the 4th row of pics, there's a young, wide-eyed 2018 Nikki Rackets. Toye has aged you up, man. Oh no. Do I show up on the Russell Greer results? That's
I'm looking for it right now. You're on the 5th row for me.
Oh, I gotta see what picture it is. Here we go. Images. Let's see. Oh, I'm on the 3rd row for me. I must have lower zoom. Yeah, that was at the old house and everything. Oh, it's great. Great. I got to get to that number 1 result so that when people think Russell Greer, they see only me. Okay. JC Gaming says GOG has an awesome special right now. All Witcher games in Cyberpunk for $88. Includes discount for merch. Ends July 4th. I Hate Yankees says, assuming they could all pay you in full, would you rather represent Montegraph, Romeo Lacoste, or Russell Greer in a civil case? I'll go with Montegraph. Montegraph. Are you familiar, Sriracha, with Romeo Lacoste?
No, I'm not.
He's a tattoo artist in Hollywood who I think he did a tattoo for Ariana Grande and some other celebrities. And he's the guy who just sued Keemstar. If you're familiar with Keemstar.
I know who Keemstar is. What did he do?
So Keemstar found out that Romeo Lacoste I shouldn't say found out. Some young ladies messaged Keemstar and said, hey, Romeo Lacoste was having sexual conversations with us as minors. And then Keemstar reported on it. And then the next day, Romeo Lacoste went on Keemstar's show to defend himself. And in defending himself, he said, yeah, I know they weren't all literally 18. So he admitted to having sexual conversations with minors. Then a year goes by and another girl comes out and says, when I was 15, and which was just like earlier that year. When I was 15, Romeo Lacoste had sexual conversations with me and sent me pictures of his penis. And so then Romeo sued Keemstar, and in his lawsuit admits to doing all of the things, like in the initial complaint. And shockingly, Romeo just lost his lawsuit.
Really? He lost the lawsuit for defamation for the thing that he admitted to doing?
Yes. And the judge specifically says he admitted to knowing that some of the girls were under 18 and having sexual conversations with them.
That's a stonks moment if I've ever seen one.
He was, it's one of the pleadings. I almost thought Landau wrote it.
Landau.
Ben Frail says, is this litigant related to Francis E. Deck, Esquire? No, Russell's not related to anybody. He is his own man. Some nobody says, PTSD, psychotic Taylor Simp disorder. Matt Schrodinger says his bad grammar is one thing, but the awful vocabulary and constant butchering of common idioms and phrases that makes me want to put Russell Greer down. Twilight Dragon 3 says, Morgan Freeman owl, Sue, Taylor will finally notice you. Oh, that was from the book, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think the Morgan Freeman owl was from the book.
Oh, it definitely was. I don't remember if the Sue Taylor would notice you from the book. Yeah, no, in his dream in the book, he saw an owl with the head of Morgan Freeman who told him he needed to like climb a castle or something because Princess Taylor was going to kill herself if he didn't get there.
I was wondering in the video, I'm like, where are these Morgan Freeman owls coming from? And I'd forgotten that they were in the book. Big Red Bear says, bedwetting. No deranged psychopaths here. Nexi says 2K views and only 400 likes. I love you, but come on. Yeah, guys, come on. Like the stream or whatever. Kiwi Goes Live says the world needs Russell Greer narrated audiobooks. I agree. I think he should just monetize the shit out of his disability.
He should.
Yeah. I mean, why not? God gave it to you or whatever. So do it. Do it. Romer Migtow says IQ going down the duty, I suppose. Tengen Ken says Games Workshop double shipped the Bandai Marine and due to limited production had to retrieve the duplicates. I returned mine. I'm sure others didn't. What's the legality of that / customers' refusal to comply? I mean, it would cost them way too much to go after the customers, I would think, if they refuse to comply. Legality of it, you know, you sent it to them. It's going to be hard to demand that they send it back, that they undertake that burden. But I mean, you can ask. It's one of those things that'll probably just never be litigated. What they will have to do is fulfill their orders to the people who didn't get them. Big Red Bear says, imagine if he actually won this case. I want to live in that world. Not because it'd be good. I'm sure it'd be a nightmare, but because it'd be funny. Andrew War Snowboard says, as Jay Sean, the Dragon Ball wishing, gay pants wearing, cuck girlfriend stealing, GoFundMe grifting, lawsuit filing, son of a gun, Vic Flair, manana, woo! That's weird. Matt Schrodinger says a simple spelling mistake. Greer totally wrote it. No one important. This man is not a joke. He's an entire sitcom. I love Adblock says Sriracha. I wrote you a song. Please date me. Thank you.
I have to now legally.
Yeah, you made representations by living.
Just by being alive.
Oh, they want me to play "Give It to Me, Neil" for you.
Okay.
Let me see. This one, I'll send you the link in the chat here. Okay, there's the link to "Give It to Me, Neil." Let me pull it up. Go away thing. No, that's the wrong window. Here's the right window. Okay, let me know.
Let's see.
Let me know when you're ready. And let me pull it up on stream here.
Okay, ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
1.
Play.
Neil Cuckman put himself in the game, ramming a tranny.
Yeah.
After getting manhandled first by the tranny.
Hey, how you doing? Let me whisper in your ear. Tell you something that you might like to hear. You got a sexy little body and your booty looks soft. Mind if I touch it and see if
This Last of Us 2.
You just plant one on their lips, and then you grip them.
What am I? Is this the real game?
This is the real game.
What? Is this porn?
Just kiss him and then pound him.
Oh my God, there's boobs.
Give it to me.
Those are man pecs, and you know it.
I can't see. Wow, this is.
Give it to me. Give it to me, Neil.
What?
Imagine being the dude who's editing that.
You gotta loop that in.
And you have to loop that. You just keep seeing Abby's ugly
commentary.
fucking man face.
Wow, that truly was something.
So yeah, that was the commentary. Was me and my friend Drexel on a stream, and we were suggesting that someone make that video, and then a guy, Jay Chizzy, made it. He actually did it. So
Thank you to the person who made me witness this with my eyes.
But no, that's the scene from the game, and Abby is supposed to be a woman, not like a trans woman. That's supposed to be a biological born female, and it I don't know. To me, it looks like a man, not like you know.
I don't know what to make of what I've just seen. I'm sorry.
I would tell you to review it and get back to me, but I don't want to do that to you.
I don't want to do that either.
Let's see. Okay, then there's finally Crusader Saracen says, for a guy who is, as they say in the military, a soup sandwich, He's fairly articulate in his writing. Too bad he's just really, really stupid. Yeah, Russell, I mean, he's not great at writing, but he's okay. He's passable, I guess. But there you go. Well, that's what I've got. Sriracha, is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we wrap up? Because we've had a full show.
Oh, yes, we have. There's just so much to talk about with Russell at every stream. If we just talked about it forever, we'd be here for 10 days.
Well, let's see. So people can find you on Twitch. What was your Twitch channel again? I'm going to pull it up.
Twitch channel is twitch.tv/Sierra Santana, the number 1. I couldn't get the original name. Maybe I'll do another stream soon. I haven't done it in a while.
You've got to do the watch party. Because it's just fun. It's just fun to. Who is Sierra Santana 1? Like not 1, just Sierra Santana.
I don't know. It's somebody that hasn't streamed in like decades.
Oh, that's rude.
They just parked.
I hate when people do that.
Me too.
Here, I'm adding it to the description. If you guys want to go ahead and follow her on Twitch. I follow her on Twitch. No.
No, don't do it. You're gonna get a disease.
But yeah, you should try out a watch party. They're a lot of fun. All right. Well, is there anything else you wanted to say? Otherwise, we'll end the show.
Nope, just happy to be here.
Well, thanks for joining me as always. If you want to hang out for just a second so we can chat after the show ends, thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something about Russell Greer and about Taylor Swift and about yourselves. Also, when you're watching Twitch, don't chafe your penis. Don't do that. That lawsuit is not going to work, and you don't want to be in that position. So, watch party tonight. I will try and start it before 2. I have to go take care of some things because I've been busy all day. So, I will try and start it before 2 a.m. Central Time tonight, which is in just under an hour. So I'm not sure what movie we're watching tonight. I've got to figure. Oh wait, no, Jean-Claude Van Damme's Double Impact tonight. So if you want to watch Jean-Claude Van Damme's Double Impact, come join the Twitch watch party with me tonight. All right. Well, thanks guys. Hope you have a good night. Peace.